Hi everyone, this is your sometimes evil DM Josh. I wanted to give you all a heads up that this episode is all about character creation and world building. If that's not your thing, come on back in 2 weeks to hear gameplay. You can also catch the first episode live on the Don't Split the Podcast Network Twitch channel July 20th at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Hi, Internet.
Ugh.
Hi.
Yes, let's greet our few viewers right away.
That's right.
What are you doing here?
Friends, family, and fans.
Hello, I'm Josh Long. I'm the DM of Tales From Mauxferry. And today we're going to just be doing Session 0 stuff in preparation for you could say, the true gaming of Tales From Mauxferry Season 2. So today we'll just be all about character creation, world building, kind of get on the same page and all that kind of jazz.
And then just a quick adventure.
Just like 30 minutes.
Like,
Yeah.
like 2 minutes.
Like shopping.
Yeah.
Shopping
I
adventure.
buy boots. I buy a citronella candle.
Yes.
So you can find me on Twitter at EvilDMJosh. And let's just go around the table and everyone can introduce themselves and we'll learn a lot about their characters in a few minutes. Chris.
My name is Chris, and I'm playing Azrael. I don't know what he is now. An abomination.
An amalgam.
Yes.
A Frankenstein of
fair.
various magical items and
Basically, any
Parts,
magical
bones,
creature
animal.
I find interesting.
yeah.
Oh, give me that.
Stick it on you.
I'm John. You can find me at Crossways GM at Twitter. And I am playing Gerlach, who is a skulk who likes to kill people in horrific ways. And I don't think that's changing no matter what happens in this next season.
Yeah. Brother John.
I'm Brother John. You can find me at my Twitter, Monochrome Guy, and I am playing Brimstone, a red half dragon who is also a monk. So he's like a martial artist, but he's also kind of like got a luchador vibe going on too. So
I'm Amber. You can find me on Twitter at Rocket Orca, and I'm playing Mallanna, who in D&D 3.5 was going down the path of Deathwalker. She's a pixie. So basically she's a flying magical tissue filled with spite and hate.
Hey, I'm Dave. I'm playing Nuoc. He is my strong Minotaur boy. To be honest, I'm super excited to get back in the saddle with this character. He is a barbarian berserker. He's gone through some different, but he likes to crush people and fight them. So, super smart, academic, several papers
Been published? Yeah,
Yes,
been published in
right.
lots of
Absolutely.
journals.
Strength's your dump stat. Anyways,
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
He is the only one here who's writing a book.
This is true.
Oh,
that is
true.
very
yeah,
true.
you are
accurate.
very good.
Yeah, you are.
That's true.
So you may be wondering, what are we talking about, like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff? And so a little bit of context for everyone listening or watching is we used to run a podcast called Evil Is Evil Does, where we followed most of these people here as they were playing evil characters. And so they were the villains instead of the heroes. So we've learned a lot of stuff from then. We got to have a little bit more fun. And so Tales from Mauxferry Season 2 is picking up with these characters, but we're not going to be playing in D&D anymore because they got to such a high level where the math and the combat and stuff would take forever.
Yes.
So I'm confused. My question is, I thought Tales from Mauxferry was our Blades in the Dark game, and that Evil Is As Evil Does is our D&D characters.
Right. And so that's a great question, John. So what happened at the end of Evil Is Evil Does is they defeated Maya Hene, but they had to do it on her plane of existence. So time accelerated while they were there. And so 20 years has passed in Mauxferry. And so every odd season of Tales from Mauxferry is us playing a game system in Mauxferry during those 20 years. And then in every even season is us playing the Evil Doers in the present day Mauxferry. And so we get to kind of influence what we're going to see.
So our characters, every time it's an odd season, our characters are going to disappear. It's going to be 20 years later in the future again. That's what you're saying.
No.
Or 14 years in the past.
Or 14
years.
past.
Yeah. Within
Okay.
that time frame in the
18,
past.
16.
All right. Okay.
So basically stuff that happened while we were in My Henny's plane, essentially.
Exactly.
All right, fair
Exactly. And so that gives us a chance to play other game systems because...
Josh is the GM, and he ran D&D 3.5 for 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Long after its expiration date.
Yes.
So the ideal thing is every even season kind of going to resolve one of the players here on the table.
Okay.
So this season will be resolving Brimstone. Everyone kind of has a very overarching goal, which we'll actually talk about today. And so we're going to try to hone in on that overarching goal and see if you make it or you die.
Sounds good to me, Josh.
So, and just to be clear, should Brother John's character make it, we're not killing Brother John.
No.
He's
Brother John the player or Brother John's character?
the player.
Okay.
And then, when Brother John's arc gets completed, what happens next? Is Brother John bringing a new character?
So
is he playing NPC?
That will be up to Brother John.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do
So
that.
it might be Brimstone, but might be like, yeah, I did it. And I still want to hang out with you guys because there might be these other things of interest. Or it might be like,
Or
well,
like, hey, I did it. Now I'm going to go home and be a family man.
yeah, exactly. So we'll just find out.
Go back
Okay.
to the farm.
Pretty much play to see what happens.
We were just curious.
Yeah. I have no plans. I'll just see what happens kind of deal. And so you may be wondering what we are going to be playing this season. We will be playing Godbound by
Kevin Crawford.
Kevin Crawford. Yeah, the book's right.
Good job,
Good job, Josh.
Great job.
Bound.
Good start.
Gorshbound.
Gorsh, oh my god.
Pretty much with this system, everything's just scaled down a lot. Y'all are playing demigods, which is pretty appropriate for
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons at high levels. And so why we're going to be playing the system is like the Gollybound exactly. The system compresses down like health and attacks and damage and all that kind of stuff. So most of the time when people attack, they'll only be making one attack, but you can view it as like it's so powerful that a regular D&D character would have to do
Yeah.
multiple attacks to achieve the same effect.
Yeah.
And so you're going to be seeing players with hit points that are in the single digits or
Yeah.
maybe barely cracking
Welcome
10.
back to single digits, Mallanna. You just crawled out of out of there, so
Yeah. So Godbound is very, very, very similar to Dungeons and Dragons. It is I believe, an OSR game. So almost all of your resolution stuff is done via a D20.
okay.
And you're always going to be trying to roll high. For saves, you just have to roll higher than the save on your character sheet.
Okay.
For skill checks, you just have to roll higher than the attribute on the far right.
Check.
The attribute check.
Yeah.
So these are static unless I tell you differently.
Okay.
And then when you're going to attack someone, you just roll, you add your attack bonus, and maybe relevant stats, I forget.
Yes,
yeah, relevant stat. And you add their armor class. So this is the only super weird thing about Godbound compared to
D&D.
D&D is you add their AC to your roll. So the lower the AC you have, the better your AC is.
When you make an attack roll, you're trying to equal 20.
Okay.
So you're trying to, with the number on the face of the die, the relevant attribute, and their AC bonus, you're trying to
adding
hit
all of that together.
You're trying to hit 20. So, like, the average non-armored character in Godbound has a 9 AC.
Okay.
So you would get plus 9 when you try to hit them.
So, okay, that's kind of what I want to know, how like the rolls. We're rolling mostly D20s?
Yes. So you roll D20s to do anything except for damage. Damage is usually a D8 or a D10.
Okay.
So when we made our characters, we had to pick facts. That's like origins and past careers and stuff like that. Those are all relevant for when you make an attribute check.
Okay.
When you try to like do a skill or something, you can get a bonus depending on if it fits.
Narratively.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, gotcha.
So like one of my past career is silver-tongued vizier. So if I was trying to like do what would normally be a diplomacy check, I would probably get a bonus to that.
because, yeah,
Yeah.
what you've done in the past. Sure.
So my charisma is so high that I naturally have to just roll over a 3 to succeed on a diplomacy
Oh,
check.
wow. Well, that makes sense for Azrael.
Right. But I assume the same's with your intelligence. You have an 18 intelligence.
Yes, I do have an 18 intelligence.
So if you're trying to like...
My check is a 3.
Right.
So I have to
you-
roll higher than a
You have to
3.
roll higher than a 3, and then you can get a bonuses depending on your facts and stuff.
Well, dang.
The numbers are smaller, but comparatively to like D&D, a lot of stuff is going to be easier for you because we are demigods now.
Yeah. I mean, like, when Gerlach, what was your hide in plain sight or your...
Plus 52.
Yeah.
so, yeah.
I mean, that's effectively always going to succeed.
Right.
yeah.
And so now he will almost always succeed. Right. Anyhow.
So, Chris, would you like to go first about talking about your general Godbound character?
Also-
Sure.
Could you also explain, like, why you chose those?
Yeah.
ones?
Yeah,
They
that's
make
a-
sense to Azrael? Okay,
Yep,
cool.
makes sense. When we played D&D, Azrael was several things. I ended up, by the end of the campaign, I had settled on him being a druid. Through various story machinations, it worked out that he was a druid and not... He used to be like a cleric.
Favored soul, aren't you?
Favorite soul.
It was cleric, and then favorite soul, and then druid.
Yes.
Because I
Now-
lost my divine...
You lost your heart.
Yeah. The main concepts that I really wanted to carry over from D&D to Godbound with Azrael is that he is very persuasive, his diplomacy was as high as Gerlach's hide, basically. I had like a plus 48 or something ridiculous. So pretty much auto-succeeding on anything that's not completely ridiculous. So, and he was also the kind of the group healer because I was the only one who had access to divine magic.
And for some reason, most clerics didn't want to hang with us.
Yeah, and we made enemies of everyone else. And then near the end of the campaign, he did become a saint of Pelor, who's the god of sun and healing and all kinds of goody two-shoe garbage. So the words I chose when I brought him over to Godbound, with the first one I knew I wanted was command, which is the closest thing I felt to just diplomacy as a general concept.
Yeah.
It has a lot of abilities in Godbound, there's a concept of lesser foes and worthy foes. Worthy foes are people who have more hit points than you have levels.
Right.
So that would be like, generally speaking, normal people are lesser foes. They have less hit points than I have levels, even at level 1.
Right.
Like a peasant will have 1 hit point, so I can...
But worthy foes are like also heroes and demigods.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be...
That'd be like around level 8 is when you start becoming a worthy hero. Like in D&D, it'd be about level 8.
Yeah. So that's like a worthy foe it doesn't mean that they're automatically a challenge, because they still might only have 8 hit points, which that's if we beat up on them for a turn, they're still
done.
dead.
Yeah.
They have enough conniption to power through some of the stuff you can do in the game. Anyhow, so a lot of my abilities from command are about commanding people. Like I can make people listen to me and say what I want them to say and do what I want them to do and all sorts of things. So that seemed to fit pretty well with diplomacy, which was a big part of Azrael. I chose health. Secondly, health was hard. I was torn between health and fertility as a word. So fertility
has healing as well, right?
Fertility and health have the best healing abilities. There's some debate. I think fertility might actually edge out as better because healing's a little weird in this game. But health has a lot of other cool stuff. Like you can cure diseases and stuff. So I thought that'd be pretty fitting too, because that's something he started to do a lot. I remember in the D&D campaign, he, as a druid, one of the best healing spells I had was like a cocoon.
Yes, revivification cocoon.
Where I would, which was really weird, but I did that a couple times on peasants to
heal them of their ailments.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I can just do that as an action. Yeah. So that's pretty good. It is golden.
Yeah.
It's a golden cocoon?
Yes.
Oh. Why?
Because after he got sainted, it became gold.
Oh, didn't it?
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't realize that.
Yeah. Azrael is odd looking. He has he's a tiefling that has
He started as a tiefling.
that through various choices I made, I just got weirder. Like I have reindeer antlers,
That was from Santa, right?
which was from Santa. Yes.
Which is in addition to your tiefling horns.
Yes. Yeah, they are not replacements. They are in addition to. So I have 2 nubby little horns and then a giant rack of antlers that are like normal antlers, furry and all that. Or they were until I became sanctified. And now they are just complete.
And they're gold or are they white? I forget.
Ivory.
Yes.
Yes.
White.
They're just, they don't have fur anymore. They're just like giant bone antlers sticking out of his head. That's why I chose health and all that, despite the tangent. And my last one I chose was Sun, which I think does a good job of representing the fact that he does have an inherent light of Pelor, even though that light should completely destroy him because he is nasty and evil.
Gerlach. John.
He is a saint now. So right now I only have 1 gift from Sun, but basically I can just kind of exude sunlight whenever I want and go into holy fire mode and
Gerlach loves you.
shoot fireballs and stuff. I don't know. It's
He's
pretty
just
cool.
proving all my conspiracy theories true.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I will say being sanctified did not make me less evil.
You are not a better person, which proves my theory.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Do you want me to go through the gifts I chose? Or
I can do a real quick on that, yeah.
a lot of them are basically, in command, I have an ability where I can spot the leader in a group situation, which I thought would be handy because we always have trouble finding people. So it's if I find a mob or something, I can just tell who the leader is. And I can commit effort to have them obey me like I am their leader, which is pretty cool. I have an ability that magically binds people who freely pledge their loyalty to me. So they're they can't betray me or break that bond unless I release them.
Or they are a worthy foe that does spirit or something like that, I'm guessing.
It would
Probably.
be a spirit save.
Oh, wow.
But they have to have hit dice equal or less than my
okay,
level.
so yeah, they went.
And then I have an ability where I can commit effort, and NPC immediately becomes cooperative, doing all they would normally do for a superior or employer. Worthy foes do get a save, but again, even after I take the effort back, the cooperativeness will last. It doesn't get broken until I do something to really push the boundary of our new relationship. So that's kind of cool.
That's nice.
Under health, I took an ability to cure maimings, blindings, poisons, mutilations, and birth defects by sight.
So you just glance? Wow.
It does not heal hit point damage, but it can restore lost limbs and crippled functionality. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I also chose a healing ability called Merciful Gaze. Healing generally works in Godbound is that it does not cost me effort to heal someone, usually, but the person who's getting healed has to spend an effort to get healed. And that's generally true across the board. So, like, I can't heal people a ton of times a day, so don't be dumb.
Yeah.
People, like, you could say clerics and other magic casters in Godbound can, if they take the right... There are spell casters, and we'll get to that with Mallanna as well. There are spell casters that can cast healing onto Godbound, but you still have to use that effort. They're just pretty much going to be more inefficient compared to someone with healing.
A gift. An
Yeah.
actual gift for it, yeah.
So the part of the reason I had trouble deciding between health and fertility is that fertility has a heal that is a group-wide heal. It does not cost you guys effort. It would only cost me effort, so it inverts the normal healing. So we'll see.
Still 2d6?
No, it's 1d6 plus my level.
Okay, because with his, it's 2d6 plus his level. So
Yeah. But again, it's also targeting everybody and only... So the effort economy does work better if I do fertility. Anyhow, it's just... I'm trying to decide.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then on Sun, I have an ability that gives me 3 AC and a ranged magic attack. So
That's pretty good.
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's basically him. I mean...
All right, so Mallanna was a wizard. Is what my base template was.
Deathwalker.
Deathwalker, which is a wizard int based class, and so she was kind of like working her way towards basically necromancy. I mean, that's what she was. So the words I chose were death, and I remember saying to Josh, I chose death, and he's like, well, why not the Lich King?
Yeah.
And it was because, like, it was death had a better, like, innate ability, because, like, the words have, like, innate ability. Some of them are, like, bumping stats or other things. And the Lich's was not as good as death, I thought, in my case. Because, like, as an on-turn action, I can know what, where, and how anything died or is dying within 100 feet of them. And that was, like, way better than the Lich's. I can't remember. It was, like, a stat bump. And I was like, this is way cooler. And also, like, they had, like, very similar gifts as well of just controlling or creating or commanding undead.
Death is a lot better at actually controlling undead. They're both good at it, but Death is better.
Yeah.
Lich is a lot more tough and survivable.
Yes, and like, so picking between like what Mallanna is, maybe she might go down to
because like
Lich
you do
world.
Get the ability to get to phylactery and all that, which is
So maybe later on when you
maybe
level
later
up.
on, but right now, as Mallanna was at the end of Evil,
you weren't there yet.
I wasn't there. I had actually even branched out and started a multi-class into Noctomancer, which was like a knowledge-based secret counterspelling class. So anyway, so that's the word I chose for Mallanna's. The first one's death. The second one was knowledge. If you guys remembered how ridiculous, because her int score was so high, so it's just like she's just super knowledgeable. And that was the innate thing, was just turning wisdom or intelligence attribute to like 18.
And you had that random ass bardic knowledge.
Yes, I did also have the random bardic knowledge because I drank from a Mind Flayer's pensieve, essentially. Like, I think that's what happened. And so it's like she just had access to so many things.
That was always fun, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I rolled and I was like, what is Mallanna going to do?
Yeah.
And then the third one I chose was sorcery for obvious reasons. She was a spellcaster. And spellcasting in this game is interesting. It's different. Like, it's better to have, it's almost better to have gifts, obviously, than casting spells, but spells, basically I can do them like if we wanted to prepare for something. Like, if we knew that we wanted me to cast something that we would need in a couple days, that's when I should cast a spell, really. Because
they take a long
long time to actually cast. I can cast them instantly, but I take damage doing so. So basically, depending on how fast I want to cast something, there's a repercussion for casting that. That's like basically the magic pours through my body, and I'm not able to prepare myself in my mind before the magic flows out of me, and so it hurts me either psychologically or physically.
Since you're a little decaying fairy.
Yeah.
The magic system is their effects are generally weaker than an actual gift that does something similar, but you also have a lot more options.
Yes.
And if you have time to prepare, you can do a lot of really cool stuff.
Right. And so we'll talk about my gifts next, which when you're making your characters, you get 6 points to spend in gifts, and a lesser gift is 1 point, and a greater gift is 2. I just went ahead and took all lesser gifts.
That's what I did as well.
Yeah.
I also.
So for death, I got a Pale Crown Beckons, and that's just commanding undead. And then Scythe Hand was fun. There's death in your gaze or your blade, which you may use as a magic weapon. That's pretty cool. For knowledge, gifts I took was Excision of Understanding.
Oh, God.
Do you remember my favorite spell that I used all the time that reduced people's intelligence to 1? So this one is, as an action, erase a visible target's knowledge of a language, an intellectual skill, or a particular topic or event.
God.
Like a brain scalpel.
Great.
This can't erase spellcasting abilities or other powers that last until the skill is relearned or the Godbound relents. Worthy foes can save versus spirit to resist. I did also a word far off. Know what's going on in a particular place or community that you've been, learning as many as 3 sentences of what the GM thinks you'd find most important or most relevant to your immediate interests.
Or gather information checks.
Yeah.
Yep, unless it's obscure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then sorcery, I mean, to cast spells, you have to become adept in something, and there's 3 levels of spell casting. And so I took, of course, Adept of the Gate, which is the lowest form of magic, the first tier of it. And so I got to learn 4 spells, essentially. Okay. I have access to 4 spells immediately. And then I took the Subtle Eye of Knowing. It's basically detect magic. Right. It's like I can discern any low magic or active magic in the area and identifying its general function. So it's detect magic. Cool. Seal of Regnal Dominion? I think I misspelled something. So basically this is like a zone of truth, essentially. It's just a command thing. Sunder, the lesser spell, I can basically dispel magic. So it's like a dispel magic spell.
Nice.
So like a dispel command and animating. Oh, and then Pour of Hell, which is the caster may at any time trigger the pour as an instant action, causing it to vomit out flames, and so it's like a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Cool.
Okay, that's Mallanna.
All right. Let's do John next.
So Gerlach, in the Fiend Folio from 1980 something, there was a race called the Skulks, and even then they were described as super sneaky and horrifically violent in their horrible murder scenes. And as editions have increased, they've added more lore to them about them being an outcast race that were subjugated by an ancient people, and they lived on the edges of society. So my character's backstory has always been that he was found by a good party. His family, his nest of skulks, was found by a good party led by a cleric of Pelor, and they wiped out the family, but they were so good they couldn't bring themselves to kill the children, or at least the child that was there. And so there's also, in one of the books, is a talking about how skulk children are frequently taken and sold into slavery, where they become assassins and that sort of thing. So he escaped that and lived on the edges of society, hating the Church of Pelor. And I don't think at first he even knew who the Church of Pelor was. He just knew that he hated that sun symbol that was on that freaking shield, and then on the holy symbol that ruined his family. So in D&D, he had various different paths that we took. We started him as a ninja, and then we went back and retconned that, and so on and so forth. By the time it was all over, he had become a sword sage, where he had fallen into the plane of the void and had met Zanye, who is the leader, the goddess of the void. And it sort of changed his perspective on things. He became much more of a shadowy guy. He became a sword sage with the shadow school or what have you. So in any case, after all this was over, when it came time to create him for Godbound, I originally had thought I would do words like knight. But then as I got looking into it and talking to my son, who may or may not have influenced me on these decisions, I switched it up a little bit last night, and I have chosen the words alacrity, which is if I'm pronouncing it correctly. If not, sorry.
Did Brother John take alacrity?
He did as
That's a
well. So we
galactic.
may need
okay.
to talk about that.
So there's a little bit of an overlap there.
It's a good word for both of you.
Well, you didn't take deception, so I could go back to deception if
I think
need
you
be.
should stick with alacrity.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Stick with
Power
alacrity.
gamer.
I think it's fine.
No, it
to
just fits
have
him.
two people who can move about. for
yeah,
this.
and well, and I don't know
But
which
also it
words
is a
you
good
took
word.
either, so we
I
might want to.
only took one,
Which one did you
a
take?
lesser one. I took all directions as one.
I did not take that.
Okay.
So I took. Anyway, we'll get back to that. Alacrity's speed and dexterity and movement, because he's always been very fast and agile and avoiding attacks by his high reflex rolls in D&D. And I also took, to no one's surprise, murder is one of my words. He has been the group psychopath. And I also took theft, which is all about sneaking in and stealing things.
Get that bread.
Get the bread. But it's also about, actually, you know what? The cool thing I thought about
Bread night.
theft was that, because I was trying to figure out ways to make him as sneaky as he had been in D&D, but theft by its very nature says you can sneak past people. And so, I mean, clearly the special effect is going to be that he's moving about in the shadows, but that is one of the alacrity gives you a bonus to dexterity and says you can't be surprised. Murder, you can inescapably and instantly murder any single creature within sight that has fewer maximum hit dice. Creature killed by a divinity bound to murder can't be magically revived without the Godbound's consent. So once that kills them, they stays dead. And then finally,
I would like to talk to you a little bit more in the future.
Josh is
May
hitting
I
his
have
power
your
book.
may I
his
have your
panic button.
permission?
the word of theft gives you the ability to pick any lock, evade any mundane trap, sneak past, sneak past,
No more detect trap.
Oh, open any door.
Well, it's just for him.
sneak past or pickpocket any lesser foe with no chance of failure. And I can also overcome magical locks, traps, and barriers by committing effort for the scene.
No more one of knock.
So, yeah. And then my gifts. So I took, in murder, I took a knife in the dark, which means I can kill people with anything. Whatever I pick up is a weapon to me, and it does 1d10 damage. I can kill somebody with this paperclip. And if they are surprised, I do automatically do maximum damage to them.
It's John Wick.
It is. It's John Wick for sure. And
You're
then
angry
any
Keanu
creature
Reeves.
killed by that gift dies in perfect silence if I choose it to be so. And then I also have in murder, I have never unprepared. I have an invulnerable defense against poisons, which my character had in D&D through a feat that gave me worms crawling through my skin who ate the poison. It was one of the evil feats from the Racked, I believe, is what that thread was called. In any case, and whenever anyone
blocked
tries
it from my
to,
mind.
whenever anyone attempts to ambush or surprise you, I'm never surprised, and I immediately get a bonus round of action before initiative is rolled, because he's super paranoid. I also have under theft, I have passing sight unseen. As long as no one is looking at me, I can immediately vanish and reappear anywhere within 100 feet. So as long as they're not looking at me and they're not looking at where I want to go.
Does that take effort?
It does. I have to commit effort for the scene.
Okay.
Yeah, and if they are watching the place where I'm going, then it doesn't work. And then I took a prowling power, which is theft also, which is I'm capable of scaling sheer surfaces or overhangs as if they were flat ground. And my innate stealth, which we already talked about, now works against worthy foes as well. Although they get to have a spirit save to notice them if they want to try and find me. My last two is my only alacrity ability. My alacrity gift is walking between the rain, which is my natural armor class is 3. I can't be hit by anything not driven by a purpose unless I allow it. For example, falling objects will never strike you. I don't wear an armor or shield, which my character mostly walked around half naked anyway. I had armor at the end. I had that mithril armor we from where we ganked the head of the Assassin's Guild. And then finally, there's an ability called Corona of Fury, which is where you just take your godlike ability.
Oh, you took that.
And just pour it into somebody. And just the gist of it is that this is my murderous smite. I can go to a place and just release my murderous rage all at once. And within a 30-foot radius, everything around me is going to take 1d8 points of damage. Mm-hmm. So I can just, especially if they're minions, I can just go to a house and just wipe them out.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
and that Corona Fury, so there are a few powers that you do not need a word for.
There are
and
5?
and that's one of them.
yeah, though there are powers that every word basically has this power of if you want it. And so that seemed certainly murderous to me.
They're called universal gifts, and there's 2 basic attacks, 1 stat buff, and then one way to increase your influence and your effort. So
How do you?
Chris pointed me in alacrity. You do subtract your dex from your...
Yes, from your AC.
You do?
Yeah.
I guess I'll go ahead
right.
since we already brought up the AC thing. So again, Brimstone is he was a half dragon monk, half dragon, half human, and he was essentially like the striker of the team. I would like Nuoc was like between me and Nuoc, we were both muscle, but Nuoc was more like crowd control, and you could like wipe out a lot of people in one go. As for like Brimstone was more, I can take on one person individually and just take them out,
You could block chakras,
block them
right?
down.
yeah.
Yeah. Block chakra.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could also like track people down because that's pretty fast, and I can
Oh, yeah, you could,
follow
like-
them. Yeah,
Monk speed.
Monk speed. He was
I
just
feel like overall you also had the best like combined stats of all
yeah.
of them.
He was all
Because monks
he's
are
practically
badass.
all
Need it.
around. He's
Yeah.
practically an all around guy, but mostly just
Shockingly wise.
very shockingly wise. But he's at a fault because he's impulsive as a character, and he knows better, but. He wants
more
to,
fun.
It's more fun. Yeah, exactly. That's his. He's like, it's more fun. So that's what he was. So he was pretty basic as far as that goes. And so his words are dragon for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Alacrity. I actually had a tough time picking alacrity because I was between fire and some other things. I was looking at entropy for whatever reason. Well, I was just like looking at a lot of stuff.
cool.
Intoxication was an interesting word, but
You were
Drunk
kind of
monk?
a drunkard
I
at
was
the end.
yeah, he was kind of a drunkard.
Oh,
That's like,
yeah, the stouts.
but the thing is, like, I wanted to stay aligned with this character, and he wasn't much for like the word. I was going to pick fire, but a lot of the gifts in the word of fire were like pyromancy, and I was like, that wasn't a Brimstone thing. He wasn't like a pyromancer. I mean, he could breathe fire, but he wasn't like, I'm going to fire bend because I'm with the Fire Nation, you know. So I ended up going with alacrity because he was a bit of a parkour boy. He liked to
Oh yeah.
run around.
I think it totally fits.
And his last word is vengeance, and vengeance is
So good.
vengeance
So
is
ridiculous.
So good.
I love it.
And also I picked vengeance because that's kind of like the core of his character. The benefits of the word of dragon is that he gets an automatic boost to 18 to his strength, so his modifier is 3. He also gets a natural armor class of 3.
Most of the words that we have picked have been from the core rulebook.
Yeah.
But thief, murder, vengeance, and dragon are all from the expansion Lexicon of the Throne. And so dragon is supposed to like encapsulate the idea of being a dragon,
Yeah.
like accruing wealth and breathing
yeah.
fire.
Oh, yeah.
flying.
One of the lesser gifts that I didn't pick, unfortunately, is basically pull gold out the ass.
Right, because you're
You know,
giant, you're smog.
Yeah,
You're-
pretty much.
You're a worm.
Yeah, pretty yeah, I'm a worm.
That's a rumor.
That's a rumor.
Brimstone's actually the golden worm.
Okay, so alacrity is already explained. Vengeance doesn't really give me any statistical benefits. It gives me some really spiteful and mean gifts, though, that I freaking love. So we'll get into the gifts. So for Dragon, one of the gifts is Sinews of the Serpent, which essentially lets him perform feats of strength that are ridiculous, like carrying like the size of a small ship or the weight of a small ship. Like I imagine like a small fishing vessel or something like that. He can just lift that kind of crap up. And he can destroy stone structures like within 1 foot per character level or something like that.
You can smash through stone construction as many feet thick as you have character levels, crush wind structures, carry weight no heavier than a small ship, and otherwise perform feats of draconic strength.
Yeah. And then he's got the Breath of Death, which is I get to choose a type of breath, and which I picked fire, obviously. It's pretty self-explanatory. He breathes fire. All directions as one was from my alacrity word, and it essentially, if there's a surface, he can travel on it. From what I've understood.
Yeah, you can go any direction.
Any direction. And if it's rough terrain, he can go through it like it wasn't even rough. Like it's just, he just goes. For vengeance.
So, vengeance as a default, just the word. Godbound of Vengeance, repay what is owed. Their normal attacks always hit against a target who has inflicted hit point damage on them within the past round. Always.
Just always. Yeah.
I like Vengeance a lot. I also liked it a lot for Nuoc because I think it really fits like a Berserker Rage kind of thing.
So the lesser gifts I picked, well, I actually picked one lesser gift and then one greater gift. So the lesser gift I picked was Furious Counterstrike. It is commit effort for the scene. For the rest of the scene, whenever you are hit by a normal attack and suffer damage, you get an instant normal attack and return at the culprit, which inevitably hits. So the greater gift that I picked is called Bloody Vengeance. And commit effort for the scene and target a creature who has inflicted hit point damage on you or used a hostile power against you within the same scene. For the rest of the scene, your normal attacks automatically succeed and do maximum damage. Any damage dice done by powers are rolled twice and the best result taken. So head-on conflicts with Brimstone, bad idea for most people.
So precision attack, and then you have the blender over there.
Yeah, that's Brimstone in a nutshell, pretty much.
Cool.
He's just a strikey boy.
All right. Last but not least.
In our 3.5 campaign, Nuoc, he was obviously a Minotaur, took several levels in Barbarian. That was kind of his main class, but also took levels in Frenzied Berserker, took a couple, actually ended up taking a few levels in Menacing Brute as well, which gave him some more Intimidate and presence, I guess. Yeah, he's a Minotaur. He's big, he's furry, he has natural armor. When we last pulled off of the Evil Is as Evil Does campaign, he had 251 hit points.
Oh my god.
Situationally, he could
Jeez.
get up to a plus 39 on his attack. So he could do some stuff.
He can do some stuff.
Unfortunately, that's ratcheted all the way back down to 11 hit points. So I think I win the award for losing the most. Mm-hmm. The 3 gifts I took were Endurance, Might, and Sword. Endurance kind of reflected that high hit point total, and some of that natural armor, and I felt like that was a good word to kind of get my foot into there. Heroes of Endurance, I can set my con score to 18, and I do not need to eat, sleep, drink, or breathe. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're lich.
I mean, it will.
Endurance is one of the ones I looked at and I wanted, but I was like,
it's good.
That's under Knight, too. Under the Knight ability,
Yes.
you don't have to eat, drink, sleep.
Some of this stuff overlaps a little bit, but it wasn't, that part of it isn't necessarily Nuoc, but that high con score did allow him to hold his breath for a really long time and fight off that kind of fatigue stuff. So, the gift I took under Endurance is Body of Iron Will. That sets my AC at 3, and I am impervious to natural environmental damage: heat, cold, pressure, radiation, or vacuum.
Oh,
that probably will be.
Everyone goes, Nuoc's just like, whatever,
Ain't
man.
a thing. Second gift is Might. It allows me to get an auto 19 on my strength score, which is a +4 modifier, which is pretty sweet. It allows me to lift or break anything that is humanly possible.
And to also give context, there is only one other word in power in the whole game system that gives a 19. So a +4 is like a really big deal in Godbound.
Yeah. The powers or the gifts I took under Might. Fists of Black Iron. My unarmed and weapon attacks are fueled by my tremendous strength. One-handed weapons do 1d10 damage, but two-handed weapons, which is almost exclusively what Nuoc rolls, in addition to unarmed attacks, which counts in with the horns and the gore attack he had.
Yes.
Those are d12s.
Yep. The highest damage die in Godbound.
Yeah. Yes. I also took a greater gift under Might called Loosening God's Teeth. When I commit action for the day, make a single attack. If it hits, the damage is read straight.
Which means, so normally the way Godbound works is that there's like kind of a chart system to help with importing monsters and stuff from D&D, where if you roll on damage like a 10 or above, you actually do 4 points of damage. 6 to 9 is 2 points, and a 2 to 5 is 1 point. Anything less than a 1 is 0. Rolling something straight means you just do the amount of damage that's on the die. So Loosening God's Teeth, he rolls a d12 plus 4 for his strength modifier. He can do up to 16 damage.
Which
Holy
is a crap.
guacamole.
yeah.
And the way damage works in Godbound is that it also blows over. So, like, you kill someone, you cleave into the next, and the next, and the
damage
next,
just
and the next.
overflows. And if you ever have to roll 2 damage
Trample.
dies, you can allocate them
Yes.
as well. They don't have to go to the same target.
So in Godbound, all of us have trample.
Yes.
Cleave and Great Cleave, yes. But also trample for magic.
With that power, even on a miss, I do normal damage.
Yeah.
My sword ability, which really talks more about his prowess as a melee combatant and kind of the bond he had with his axe and then his glaive. Heroes with the sword word cannot be disarmed and can summon any melee weapon they've ever used immediately to hand as an instant action.
Accio,
Exactly. So-
axe.
well, he's had to wield it.
Yeah, Accio, axe.
Yeah.
You've had to
Doesn't he have,
touch
like-
it and hold it before.
I thought you've had an axe that you're fond of, Nuoc.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
I've got a magical keen axe and I've got a magical fire glaive. Those were his two primary weapons, but he's used several others. But for purposes of the game, if there's a dead body there and I pick up that person's like pole arm and I flip it around for a minute, it's in my inventory essentially.
You should basically go shopping.
Right.
So have a day trip where we go shopping and you just fondle all the weapons you can possibly find.
And
Allow
we
me
did
to-
have that shape-shifting weapon that changed it to any weapon,
yeah.
and you used that for the longest time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that rapier that changed.
Yes.
And within that word, I took the gift Shattering Hand, which is also a greater gift. I commit effort. My damage rolls are always max. I can destroy barriers as thick as 5 feet in a round's action.
So every character has fray dice, which is basically just represents like, you just naturally doing damage to wimps. Like that'd be like you backhanding a peasant or something. So his melee damage roll is always going to be at least 4 damage if he hits. The minimum amount of damage he could do on a hit normally is a 1. With Shattering Hand active, he always does 4 damage plus 2 damage from fray dice. So
Plus 2 damage from fray dice? What does that mean?
it's like you just casually chipping away. But Shattering Hand also maxes out the fray.
Right, which is a D8.
Right.
So yeah, off the top of my head, I'm a little afraid that Brother John and I are stepping on each other, so we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I'm not opposed to tweaking it and making him more of a crowd control guy.
I mean, you both sound pretty true to your characters.
Yeah, I mean, like I would more likely try to face someone head on as opposed to like you could just like wipe out several people at once.
Right,
So,
right.
You know.
The only time Shattering Hand doesn't work is when I'm loosening God's teeth, so I can't get that auto 16.
Yep.
I love the names. I just want to say that right now. I love the names of the gifts. They're great.
You can use Shattering Hand while I'm loosening God's teeth.
Right. I'm a dentist.
Surprise!
Son be a dentist.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Brother John's vengeance abilities only are active against the target who hit him.
Any targets that hit
Any targets
Any
that hit
targets
me.
that hit
within
So,
the
like,
round.
let's say if I were to get caught in a fight with a crowd and I activated that one Furious Counter-Strike, every person who tries to attack me in that group would immediately
back.
get hit from me just punching them back.
Pretty monkey.
Yeah.
So we've went over all the crunchy mechanics part, and so now we're going to get into more of like role play development. The role play part of role playing games.
I'm
I'm here to play war
I only
games.
want lit. I
was hoping for minis and like.
Yeah, I want to make a map.
I want to make a map.
Let me bring out more action figures.
We just want to plunder dungeons.
So part of Godbound is that every character has facts. And so this is facts are used to determine what bonuses you can have when you do what you would think in Dungeons and Dragons is skill checks. Mm-hmm. For example, like Mallanna, if you're like, I want to pickpocket this person, so I'd be like, well, roll a skill check of dexterity, and do you have a fact that would say I would be good at this?
Sure, because it was in my past career when I worked for the Thieves Guild and worked for Skittles.
Exactly. So then I would give you a +4 to your roll as well. And so that's how the Godbound works with skill checks. If you don't have a fact that you can go, because of blah, 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 you just roll straight. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about facts and beliefs and instincts. And everyone's going to be like, beliefs and instincts? Well, if you know Godbound, I stole that from The Burning Wheel.
Wow, John.
Have you ever actually played Burning Wheel?
He's not.
No, I have not. I just read the books.
And got the
all
t-shirt.
books.
I love the idea that you finally play it and you hate it.
I might.
Yeah.
Oh, this game sucks. It's terrible.
There's so much.
You've never played it? What?
No, I've heard I've listened to people play it.
You've just been sucking on that chode for like.
Whoa.
Hey, he didn't say the P word.
I didn't
Just like to point out.
P word.
No, like I like some of the game design stuff.
Is it worth mentioning the familial bonds in the group?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I thought Amber was alluding to.
Oh, was I? No.
That-
Sorry. Yes, real life.
Am I pointing in the right direction?
You are.
I'm everybody's brother.
Yeah,
I'm
point
Brother John.
That's
that's
my
right.
I'm
brother.
everybody's brother.
I don't
I'm
know.
your-
I don't know which way because I can't see the screen. But this is my kid.
It's above you.
He's right up there.
Normal John is
Oh.
my father. Brother John is not my brother.
Yeah,
Brother John is
I'm your
my
brother.
Brother John's my brother.
And David, Josh, your cousins.
I'm your
That's
brother.
right.
Brother. You like it?
No, Josh is a cousin. Dave is a weird uncle.
Yes.
Everyone uncomfortable at Thanksgiving.
Yes. Yes.
Let's go over everyone's facts, beliefs, and instincts.
Yep.
Beliefs are they're going to be something your character believes, and they kind of guide the character in an overarching perspective of like how that character acts and behaves. It's not like an instantaneous on your mind all the time, but it's just like a general, this is why I act this way sometimes. And instincts are like the heat of the moment. Like it's like a tripwire that just snapped, and this thing happened, so I do this thing. If guns are drawn, I will hide. If I'm interrogated, I will puke, and other things like that.
I do actually have a question.
Yes.
So previously when we played Blades in the Dark, you rewarded us mechanically for following these.
Yes.
Very similar?
We will do, instead of like, Godbound is kind of wishy-washy about XP. So,
XP generally at the end of a session, for just showing up, you get 1 XP.
Yeah, so I don't want to do
just
that.
showing up?
I'd rather do, if you do your beliefs and instincts, then we'll do XP that way.
So we can always...
So you're going to reward
I'll
us.
figure it out, but I'd rather be like, if you didn't really play towards some stuff, you're not going to get XP.
So you're
that
going
was
to
like
reward
Blaze.
us for playing as our characters.
Yes.
You're going to reward us
Which
for
is like-
showing up.
No.
Yes, that's the same thing.
No, it's not.
So sort of like you did in Blades in the Dark,
Yeah.
where we got XP based on acting on our beliefs and instincts.
Are you still?
Yeah, that's
Are you
part
going to
of
make the
Blades,
XP
yeah.
top end 3 like normal?
He's gonna have to look at the
We're going to
chart.
I'll do some
He's gonna
math.
have to look.
Because the other thing is, so with Godbound, you can gain XP, but you also have to do Dominion. If you do not do both, you do not get to level.
XP is just like character growth. That's like you doing stuff and yada yada. Dominion is the mechanic you use to alter the world in permanent ways. So like if I wanted to like give my cult a nice new pair of robes, Dominion.
Yeah.
I mean like a permanent change that can't easily be negated.
It takes a lot of effort to negate.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Cool.
and there's a third resource called inspiration, which is like for temporary changes to the world. That is like inspiration kind of works like effort in that you spend it on something, but you can bring it back.
Right.
You can,
Okay.
but as soon as you bring it back, the thing you spent inspiration on
Kind of.
crumbles.
It's kind of like learning a language, where it's like you have to keep constantly putting effort into it.
Yeah.
Over time, you just lose it.
yeah, yeah. If you reclaim influence, it
Yeah.
falls apart.
Right.
You stop going to your
Yes.
whatever.
It's influence, yeah. So with all that knowledge, I'm going to give feedback on some of your facts and beliefs and instincts to kind of just make them a little bit more actionable.
Can we talk about what we?
Yeah,
just what
that's what we're
came
gonna
up
do
with?
now.
Okay, all right.
Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
All right.
So my facts, as per the character sheet, my origin, there wasn't enough space, but orphaned by a good party led by a human cleric of Pelor is my origin story. My past career, I was a survivor on the edges of society, and my relationship is I hate the Church of Pelor, all its followers, worshippers.
For facts, we want
Only
to make it
positive
broad
feedback.
as possible. So for the origins one, I'd also be like, I am a skulk or something as well.
Oh, sure.
Because
Sure. I thought that was a given.
you should probably try to fit something like that in there as well.
They didn't give us much space
I
for
know.
that.
I know.
I saw Josh on the
I
way
know.
up to. I was like,
It's really-
we didn't have a lot of space to
It's
write.
really, yeah, they didn't give you a lot of space,
So-
but they're like, write a couple sentences.
Every level, you get a new fact. That's part of leveling.
Yes, one fact a level.
So as we start to gain levels, we might need to redesign that little fact
Yeah.
corner.
But yeah, I mean, I think
And by
that's,
we, I mean
assume
someone's
that's a
graphic
given.
design skill.
Yeah, so go ahead and put that as well for your origins, because then you can easily be like, well, I can just shimmy on through here because I'm a skulk and they're
Right.
really gaunt.
Yep.
So I would put that in your origin. And then for your past careers, I would look to all the stuff you did during season 1 of Evil Does. So instead of just talking about being on the outside of society, think about what you did during the first season that could broadly point to skills that you may have instead.
Like when you were part of the Assassin
Wait.
Guild.
So wait, yeah, first or second season?
Both seasons.
First and second.
Previous season.
Previous seasons, yeah.
Right.
So
No.
I would do that instead, because then that can give you a really big, broad...
Well, yeah, I agree completely. I didn't realize we were allowed to go that broad. I
Yes.
thought we had to fit it in the space that was available on the character sheet.
You should do 2 sentences and try to be as broad as possible.
Okay.
And then for your relationship, yeah, that sounds good, probably. Say it again for the relationship.
I hate Church of Pelor and all of its works and followers.
So for that, it'd be like, oh, well, I really hate them, so I'm going to get plus 4.
I read their book in the previous
Exactly.
version. I used it for toilet paper also,
Yeah.
but
So I said the only one...
Surprised you use toilet paper.
it doesn't eat much. He's gaunt.
He barely
Yeah, I
eats.
picture little mouse turds.
Yeah, like
Dusty. They're dusty. Do you want to go over the beliefs?
Yeah.
So our beliefs, you asked for 3 about other party members. I actually went a little bit overboard. My character has never learned the names of the other characters at the table. So my belief about the cow is that the cow is dangerous, stupid, and likely to kill us all in one of his rages. The dead thing. She's so smarty, but keeps secrets. I like that.
Aw.
Mask guy. I like him. I don't know why. That makes me suspicious. What's his agenda? Do I need to kill him? I should probably kill him in his sleep, though. The weirdo, and this is a PG-13 warning already, there is nothing that he will not drink, fuck, try on, attach to his body, or eat. And
My standards are low.
my other two beliefs, the Church of Palor is evil, disguises itself in good, and must be destroyed. That goes back to my conspiracy theory, which you can find stuff on the internet about, that the Church of Palor is actually evil. My character fully believes that. I must earn my eternity with my Lady of the Void by slaying her enemies. The only being worthy of my love is that beautiful vision of perfect darkness and infinite silence, the goddess Zanye.
Nice. There were two of the beliefs I felt like there wasn't a general arching like guidance, but and it's the cow one, because you said
He's dangerous, stupid, and likely to kill us all in one of his rages.
right. So I should blah. Like almost all the other ones, you kind of had like, I want to kill this person or whatever, or I want to do this thing or whatever. So the cow one, you're like,
He's
I believe
dangerous,
this.
so
what should I do?
Well, and I should also point out that in previous D&D, when we were playing D&D, I actually took feats so that I could evade the stupid cow when he went crazy. So I would say that my goal, I will always be staying out of his way when he loses his shit.
Okay, go ahead and add that one for that. And then the other one was the weirdo, I think, because it felt like you had all the stuff at end.
Well, and the thing about the weirdo is that we started off as both followers of the same devil,
Right.
So I don't even know what our relationship is at this point, because I don't know who or what he is anymore.
And that makes it awkward.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's
Sexual tension.
Oh, no.
No.
Please don't do this with your
We can-
father's character.
As long as you fade to black, whatever, man.
I think that my actionable thing on him is that he is suspicious by his relationship
All right,
to
so
Church of
I'm
Palor.
suspicious of it. So that would be the thing I put on.
I mean, I think he's been corrupted.
So go ahead and put that at the end of like, I view him as suspicious. And then your instincts when you can.
Are you going to do this with all of these
Yes.
things? Is criticize what we've written?
Yeah, because you're going to criticize me all the time.
No, we don't.
Whatever.
All we do is build you up, Josh. We never tear you down.
This is my only chance is this session to criticize. You know this is true.
No, you'll find
Every
every
time
opportunity.
you roll your
What are we
eyes when we're like talking about anything that we're planning that we think is great, we can feel it.
My instincts. I've listed 3. Number 1 is kill humans, kill followers of Palor, torment priest, which sounds better in Gerlach's voice, but I'm not sure I can do Gerlach's voice tonight. Number 2 is always say your dark thoughts out loud in social situations.
That's been fun.
So good.
It's so good.
Or instinct.
I'm going to go kill myself now.
And then finally, the quiet of the void is a gift. So I'm not really murdering somebody. I'm just giving him a present.
So that's the only one that's...
Like, how does that actionable?
How's
like,
that actionable?
Like, say your last one again.
The quiet of the void is a gift. So morally speaking, I am not morally opposed to murdering people because I feel like I'm doing them a favor.
You could change it to the quiet of the void is a gift that I will share.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that.
That's good.
Yes.
And then
there
it's,
we go.
Yeah.
Boom.
If you see what I'm saying.
Yes. Yep.
And especially if I can get them screaming a lot ahead of time so they're really noisy.
Oh, wow.
And then when they're quiet, it feels so good.
That worked on Monty Henne, so...
It did. It was beautiful.
All right, who wants to go next?
I really hope she's actually
go
dead.
next.
She is.
Oh, good.
Because we've stolen parts of her power.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you are demigods.
That makes Chris smile so much.
When I looked at facts, I looked at Origin as more like what we dealt with as racial stuff in D&D.
Sure.
In that I'm a Minotaur. I'm large. I have horns. I have natural armor. I can never be lost.
Right.
Those kind of innate.
Right.
Those are kind of my origin.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So how does it read? So
Minotaur, large, horned, furry.
Well, yeah, you
never
could be
lost.
like, I'm a Minotaur from blah, 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 because then you still get all those facts.
Right.
enclosed.
I wanted to at least call attention to it so that, like...
We all agree whatever the Minotaur canon is in D&D is we will. So I would read...
You wanted actually sentences.
Yeah.
Active verbs.
Yeah, so go ahead and update that. But you kind of see where we're going.
Yeah,
with
I
it.
see.
Okay, what's your next one?
I looked at past career as the classes that I took.
Okay.
And so barbarians, berserkers, fighters, menacing brutes. But I think that those are probably...
That's what you're going to shoot
those
for.
will lend to skills that, will come up.
Yep.
My main relations are with Shaden, my living shade common law, and our daughter Kage, who's half Minotaur, half shade. She's a fetch, I believe.
Yeah, she's... Oh, God.
She's so cool.
So cool.
One of these odd seasons, we're going to play with
Yeah.
her in it, and it's going to be awesome.
And many of Azrael's children.
Yeah, it's probably.
Okay, and the rest of you just pick Azrael's bastards.
Yes,
So, like,
exactly.
Flip to a random page in the monster manual.
yeah.
That'd
He,
actually be really fun.
As long
he
as it,
probably did that. Yeah.
as long as it is
Yeah.
an intelligence above like 4,
Four, yep.
chances are pretty good.
Yeah. Cool. So I guess that's your homework for that, but looks good.
Beliefs about the party. Nuoc believes that Brimstone will challenge him in combat, and they will fight to the death. Will soon challenge him in combat.
You'll fight to the death. So are you looking forward to it?
No, not
How do you feel
necessarily.
about? I think.
But I mean, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to say no. When Brimstone comes up and be like, "Yo, bro, it's time to go," I'll be like, "All right, man."
I'm sorry I'm giggling, but that's so contradictory to one of my beliefs.
No, absolutely.
So it's like,
good.
so Nuoc's like, I'm going to fight. And Brimstone's like, I don't want to fight him.
Right? No, I love it. I don't think like Nuoc's constantly kind of posturing, like
what are we
giving out
doing
this
then?
vibe, like, "Hey, whatever you want, man. Come on, like it's
Yeah.
cool."
And
Like, whereas Brimstone's like, "No, man, no, like it's cool."
It didn't
Like,
sound to me like Nuoc really wanted to fight, just that
No.
he thought it was
Yeah.
inevitable.
So it sounds like the little slight guidance at the actual part at the end is like, and you were talking about posturing to him and stuff like
Right.
that. I don't know,
So-
and I will always look ready or ready. I will,
Yeah.
And I'm already ready. I'm always look ready to go, or I don't something
I
like
guess
that.
either it's like you're either ready to go, or is it like you distance yourself from Brimstone because you know that you're going to have to fight to the death someday or something like that.
yeah.
yes.
I think it's more the former that like Brimstone will challenge me to combat, and I don't back down from a challenge, kind of a thing.
You feel like when I fight to death, and I'm
Looking forward to the challenge.
or I'm looking forward to it, or I'm always prepared, or
Right, I will. Yeah, I rise to any challenge.
yeah, and I'm ready for it.
Okay. Azrael is the most talented healer in all of history. There is no wound that he cannot heal with a wave of his hand.
That's so cute.
That's true, and
It makes sense to me. That means that he's going to go to.
I'll go to him for all the time.
Yeah,
Okay.
why wouldn't he?
And that Azrael is a healer. You can find comfort in Azrael.
No,
But also, I can't depend on Azrael in a fight. He's a healer.
yeah,
That too, yeah.
Like I'm not gonna that's his role.
yeah.
Okay.
And,
That makes
like
sense.
Azrael.
If
go
everyone else
get
says
that
okay, continue.
I believe that Mallanna is real, but none of the others can smell her like I can. So they don't believe that she's real, and they think I'm hallucinating. Because Nuoc can smell the invisible pixie, and so I know you. I know you're
Yeah,
real. I know you.
sure.
But they can't smell anything,
Okay,
and so there's no way they can know that you're real.
okay,
No, it's pretty weird.
yeah. Stop sniffing me. I mean, I know you can't help it because I kind of just exude a nasty aura. So,
Like I want to roll on you like a dog.
oh no, stop! That's why I fly away.
I believe that Gerlach is immortal and cannot be killed. I believe that he rises from the shadows every night. It's creepy and it's weird, and I don't know how to deal with it because things that Nuoc deals with are living or dead.
Right.
And Gerlach is weird and in between.
So you're like, and I don't know how I feel about. Like I'm uncertain of him. Or,
You're
or like-
indifferent?
or I don't know.
Yeah.
Indifferent, the word?
Leery.
I like Leary.
Yeah, cautious.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
so
You
I,
should be leery
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
cautious of Gerlach because blah 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 blah.
because he
know.
killed me once already. We can try that.
No, I don't believe that. Nuoc believes that his family is safe and awaiting his return.
Oh,
Aww.
That's right.
And I love them so much. I don't know, family.
it's fine.
Yeah, I know it's family because it's implied family.
So
and
would
stuff.
that make you eager to find them then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And lastly, Nuoc believes that he has slain 3 gods: Taldor, Asmodeus, and Mallanna.
and he is so powerful.
Yes.
So I believe, and I want everyone to know.
Oh
or-
no, everybody's gonna know.
Okay.
You think he's not going to brag
Officially,
about
my name on my character sheet is Nuoc, Godslayer.
Thing is, he did not kill Asmodeus.
You know what? You have your version, and I have my version.
He believes.
It's a belief.
I know.
the belief?
It
mean,
doesn't have to be true. It's
Can
a
you
belief.
imagine a reality where Nuoc stabs someone in the face and does not imagine that he killed them?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if they kept walking,
Yeah.
But I stabbed him.
therefore
He died and disappeared.
Yeah. That
sounds
sounds like
dead.
that sounds an awful lot like someone dying, you know.
Nuoc's instincts. When Nuoc encounters an enemy, he will attack.
That seems fair. Yeah.
When the party cannot choose a course of action, Nuoc will bravely lead them.
Love it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And lastly, Nuoc seeks to keep his family safe and will defend them above all else.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Nice.
Oh, I get an A.
You did.
Get an A
More
for
like
that.
a B minus.
Why?
Just joking.
No one gets an A in my class.
No,
That's right. Who wants to go next?
I can go. So I did for her Mallanna's facts. Origin, Mallanna's a pixie born outside of Mauxferry in the wilds. Past career, forced labor as a jester or like entertainment essentially by elves.
Is that why you're so funny?
She was not there very long.
Not a proficient jester.
But mostly like cantrips and stuff. Like perform for us, Pixie, these minor
juggle?
illusions. No one's ever seen Mallanna juggle. By elves, and then later she became a thief and assassin. And in relationship, she hates the 4 families of Mauxferry because she's now a follower of Vecna.
Vec nasty.
Bit nasty.
So that's her facts.
Nice.
I'm gonna
So
be judging.
beliefs is Nuoc is a good meat shield to have around, but she believes he's a bit silly with the family and friends he chooses to have. So she kind of is like, you're good for protection, but also doesn't take him too seriously because his mind is not in the right space. Gerlach is the only one who unsettles Mallanna. She believes he would be a great asset to Vecna. She wants to keep her eye on him if she can.
Big if.
Yeah. Azrael's attitude reminds her of a formal asshole she's met, but he's weirder. He's useful, being able to gather up the masses. However, she believes he's biting off more than he can chew.
It's unlikely.
Wow.
Brimstone has connections to other realms, so he'll prove useful. She thinks he's a bit naive for getting roped into wearing that mask, though. So basically, it's like everybody has some value,
Right.
but doesn't really take them seriously, except for Gerlach, who she's kind of scared of. And her other belief is knowledge and secrets are powerful, or are power, and Vecna will provide her with great power. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're like really deep into Vecna. Like you're putting.
Yeah, like basically it's like, yeah, you're strong, yeah, you're talky, yeah, this, but
they're the best.
True knowledge is like, that is true power, having knowledge, having secrets, and her last interaction with Vecna was to get that degree of like, you're going to go kill these 4 families, and then like there's this idea that knowledge and power is going to come to her. So,
Yep. Okay.
Instincts. Mallanna will steal an item from every job or exploit as a memento. When told she can't do something or comes across an obstacle she struggles with, she will become absolutely petulant.
Yep.
Mallanna will pop off at someone who questions her ability or if something or someone irritates her. If she gets in a bad mood, she'll swing into a chaotic mindset and become destructively sassy. Does that sound about right for Mallanna?
And you put LOL at the end?
Yes, I did put LOL at the end.
Sorry, you need to read the whole prompt.
That's what I got from
No,
Mallanna.
I like it. That sounds good.
That was good.
I remember her being a little brat.
I think this is a good time to refocus on the stuff that makes our characters assholes.
Yeah, use.
Because I think, I mean...
Because gods are kind
I
of
mean,
like
there
that
was
anyway.
Yeah.
literally a time where she was just like, carry me, Brimstone.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm tired.
So
I don't want to fly.
I can't. My wings are gone. I can't use my legs, and my eyes are missing.
Yeah.
Carry me.
Let's hear.
So one thing I wanted to bring up that Mallanna brought up about Brimstone being roped into wearing a mask. Part of his story is that I guess this goes into his origin fact.
Sure.
He's a half dragon, half human who was a test experiment for a evil wizard who was testing mind control. So he's got like this mask that kind of makes him chaotic. And then that goes also into his prior occupation, which is another fact, right?
Occupation.
Occupation.
The past career, yes.
Past career was that he was the guardian of a sacred land of monks over in some distant place. So he was like, at one point in time, he was actually not as evil as he is today. It's just that, his cursed mask made him more id than ego and superego. He's more baser instincts.
So if he loses the mask, is he going to...
Good question.
We don't know.
I haven't figured that out.
How much of it is permanent?
Right.
We should duct tape that mask to your face.
It's on there pretty good, if I recall. I think someone tried to remove it, and it didn't work out so well. And then as for, what's the other one? Relationship. He really hates Shalazar the Wizard and anyone affiliated with him, and that's the wizard that tested on him. Brimstone's memories fuzzy and scrambled. As for beliefs, I actually remember my beliefs off the top of my head, which is really nice. So for Brimstone's beliefs, it's Azrael has a transformation fetish, and therefore I want to stay away from him whenever he's doing something magical that I'm unaware, like I have no knowledge about. So,
Safe.
you're like, you are just willing to change any body part at any time, whenever you want. So that's
I can't argue. I would replace 90% of my body.
Then for Nuoc, it is Nuoc would probably beat me in an arm wrestling match, no problem. Therefore, I never want to fight.
It's going to be great. I'm so excited for that.
For Gerlach, I believe that Gerlach is actually the god of death, and he is my best friend forever. And he's always looking out for me, although I can't see. And then as for Mallanna, I believe Mallanna, I almost said Moana. I believe that Mallanna is a figment of my imagination, kind of like a corrupt version of my conscience. And so I don't treat her like she's a real thing, and I don't believe that anyone else can see her. And then I guess the last belief was that the world is worth destroying for freedom, something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that. So he's like willing to,
Okay.
he's willing to destroy any obstacle that gets in the way of what he wants. Basically.
Some anime antagonist plotline.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Zach?
That's a thing.
No, yeah, that's why the theme song, when it's finished, will sound like anime.
So,
Okay, and I think Instincts was
Yes.
basically is like super basic stuff. It's just like always start what was it? Fight first, ask questions later. Shots. Basically, like always drink.
okay, I was wondering. I'm like,
Drink and
shots.
Drinks and parties, man. He's wild. And then also, what was the last one? Take all the gold. And I'll just add one more. It's just speak freely all the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a lot of really
Love
weird
it.
conversations.
Oh
because
yeah,
they're like,
totally.
I just figured that was the way I've always played my characters. So
Yes.
if there's something appropriate to say, what would be the opposite?
Right.
And that's what I would say.
Basically, he's not afraid to make a comment on something that someone's like very insecure about. If whatever.
Yep. Just make sure to put that on your thing. Cool. Last but not least, Chris Azrael.
Oh, sure. All right. So my origin is that he was a hellspawn that was raised by the church. Don't know if you need me to go more into depth,
Church
but
of what?
Paylor.
Oh.
That's one that's raised by the church.
So,
I guess if you wanted to make it a little bit broader, you probably could to get more.
But the idea was that his dad was a half fiend that seduced a nun, and then so he was born into the church as a foundling, but they all hated him because he's,
An abomination.
for several reasons.
Mostly an abomination.
And then when he turned like 16 or something, Levistus adopted him.
right. Yeah.
Your ice cube of a father adopted you?
Like, did the paperwork adopting you? Like, he's okay.
Yeah,
They put a pin in his mouth and he signed it from his ice cube.
Ice easy.
Yeah.
Ice easy.
It's easy. That's right.
I mean, basically, the idea was that, like, he gave him all these magical powers and he used it to burn down the...
Was Levistus your real dad?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe, like, great-grandpa? But
I'm just
no.
wondering how he got that going within the ice cube.
But yeah, so the idea was that would give me a lot of, like, basic church knowledge and stuff like that, and also dealing with people who hate me, which is pretty normal. His past career, when we originally wrote blurbs up for our characters, so Azrael came in as like a 10th level D&D character, which is pretty high level.
Yeah.
That's like you had a significant adventuring past before. So the idea was that Levistus sent him on various errands to like destabilize governments and stuff like that. So I put Silver-Tongued Vizier because he was kind of like Jafar from Aladdin.
So you could probably add more like a single silver-tongued vizier that's traveled around the world or something like that.
Yeah.
Just add a little bit more to make it a little bit more broad.
Yep, that makes sense.
Because then you can be like, I know about...
make it more broad. That makes it...
No, because then when we have foreigners that show up in the Mauxferry, you'd be like, oh yeah, blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah,
like
blah.
Everly.
Yeah.
And then my relationship is he's a canonized saint of Paylor, so that's my relationship. I did do one for every party member, and I did not put their names because I kind of forgot how to spell Mallanna, so I was like, well, if I'm not going to put Mallanna's name, I'll just put
But it's
the
fine.
race for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the pixie is the biggest threat to my authority because I think, I don't know what action to add to that, but like the two of us are like most close thing to like a leader of the party in that we push the goals.
Yeah.
So what kind of action should I add to that?
Yeah.
And I will
Can't
watch her
cancel
I think
carefully.
it's actually really a good, just as it is,
Well,
kind of is
it's
like
like
it's like you can tell that there's tension between, create tension between us.
Because it's not that I hate you, it's just that
We
you'll
both
fi-
have because also Mallanna in her D&D character, she had high charisma too,
Yes.
and she was basically the one who was steering a lot of the stuff. But now that Azrael's kind of come into his
near the end of the campaign, I was doing similar. I was like,
Right. You're trying to push a lot.
let's go do Paylor stuff.
and Mallanna's like, I want to go do Vecna stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're becoming polar. Oh, wow, Josh, this is going to be fun.
There's good conflict there.
Okay.
There's good conflict
sure.
there.
The Minotaur can be a powerful tool if harnessed properly.
Okay. so you're-
Basically, I don't respect him a ton as a person, but as like a weapon of mass destruction, I can point at things like,
harness promise. So you will try to use him.
and I will try to use him to my ends.
Yeah. So probably put that.
Okay. And then the
Poor Nuoc.
Harness seems like a very hard word.
Yeah. I was waiting for it.
putting it. I put for Gerlach, the Skulk is the most likely to ruin my plans with the church because he's going to murder everyone that I want to talk to,
Right. So what will you try to?
and I need to try to rein him in.
Yeah. There you go.
So you'll constantly be like,
No, not yet.
no, wait, hold on. Oh, man.
Hurting cats.
Yeah. Good luck. This is going to be real interesting. Whatever. Brimstone.
Mr. Impulse.
Yeah.
I said the monk is probably the most trustworthy because he is.
So you just trust him.
Yes.
He's a trustworthy.
Yeah. And then my other belief is that most people are stupid and easily controlled, and I can use that to my advantage.
All right. Instincts.
I like my instincts, but we'll see. My first instinct is never make a deal with an elf because they suck.
Well, you don't need to put that. You just like never deal.
To be
No,
fair,
no.
Yeah.
The
Oh, do you just put that anyways?
that was just me.
Yeah.
But no, it does not have the because they suck.
Okay.
part. They are awful.
It's really an interesting question to me if
They
we
make me
were
juggle.
what a good party would view the elves in Mauxferry as.
They're just kind of generally dicks. Like
I don't know, but like
think
if you
it
were
would- I think even good parties-
I think Mauxferry just does something to people.
Well, I mean, a good adventuring party would see them as aloof and
right.
maybe prickly to
We've
deal
got to
with.
warm up
but-
to them and do some stuff for them.
yeah.
Right.
As opposed to us who are just like hates them.
all the
well-
ones that we ran into are like, "Oh, you don't even deserve it."
No.
Yeah, exactly.
This is my
birthday wine.
And then
must-
my next one is I try to resolve conflicts with conversation unless the other party is being a total dick. Which, like elves, like normally I would try to talk them down because they have power and it might be worth it.
Right.
But no, they're just dicks, and I need to burn them to the ground. My next instinct is that I will accept augmentations whenever possible. I'm going to change that to whenever useful.
No, just whenever.
Whenever possible.
It's up to you.
Always be augmenting.
Always be augmented.
But yeah, I mean, it is kind of a thing that Azrael likes to chop off body parts or get body parts chopped off and replace them.
Or
with-
even in the case of the reindeer antlers, just glopped
Just
on.
Yeah.
Oh man,
You don't have to lose anything.
I want a
Those-
cat tail now, man. I'm just gonna chop off my old one.
Nico Azrael.
Kami-sama, koch.
All your worship belong to me.
I wonder what it would look like if I had a beak.
Quack, quack.
That's a bill.
The question is, do I want a duck bill or do I want like an eagle?
I mean, that's
or,
Falcon.
or like an owl, man. There's so many. Or get like
An owl's neck.
or like a pelican.
Just pelican beak.
You can just put stuff in your mouth.
Mouth of holding.
I have to wonder if you're just the average parishioner of the Church of Palor and you go in every Sunday and it's like, what has Father Azrael done to himself now? I think there may be something wrong with him.
It's
got a
Saint
goat.
Azrael.
He's got
It's not-
one.
Past
No, that's right.
He's got
Saint
a singular
Azrael.
goat leg. And the other is just normal.
Clop, 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 clop.
It's,
Well,
it's
Azrael,
only right.
What does the goat leg do for you? I can jump really high on one leg.
I can
Lick-
stand on a hillside on one leg.
Yeah, he's very sure-footed, singular. He's very sure-footed.
Nice.
My last instinct is to honor deals unless the other party breaks them first. So, yeah, I'll try to honor my word, but if I feel like you screw me, I will,
All bets are off.
a little bit, yeah. I like the idea of playing up the fact that Azrael's kind of cocky and that thinks he's generally better than most people around him. I don't know if that's worth making an instinct.
I mean, you have that belief that kind of plays that.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good enough.
All right. I sent a big old questionnaire to all the players to fill out.
Everybody's so excited to do.
So excited.
And got it done 3 months ahead of time because it was ready 3 months ago.
I don't even do my own homework ahead of time.
That's fine. A lot of it we'll work on together. But so let's kind of start down this list. The first one is kind of taken from Blades in the Dark system.
Blades in the dark.
Blades in the Dark.
Blades in the
So
dark.
I feel like we should just go around for each category. Does that sound
Per question?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
good?
Okay.
So the first one is, what is your character's vice, flaw, thing that if they pursue may get them in trouble?
Character's vice is that the destruction of the Church of Palor is my life's work. Any chance to profane, defile, torment, or torture the clergy and its parishioners is worth taking.
Yeah, it's gonna mess up some stuff
I love it.
for some other people.
I love it.
My problem is just that he's impulsive and quick to anger. Like he's just that can be pretty troublesome, really.
Awesome.
So I said, for flaw, she's incredibly stubborn, Mallanna, and obstinate, and she thinks she can do almost everything on her own. So that has gotten her trouble in the past before.
Yes.
I foresee it getting even worse as she progresses as a character.
So I think now you have the worst armor class out of all of us.
This is true,
That's gonna be fun.
but there's lots of undead that can also be around me.
How many hit points do you have?
Let's not talk about our character sheets.
Do you have 8?
right now. Maybe I have 8.
8's the bare minimum, so
Oh.
scraping along.
As one does.
Azrael's flaw is that he craves new experiences, sensations, and feelings.
Oh boy.
He's usually down to try anything once.
Woo!
At least.
At least once, yeah.
What about Nuoc?
Nuec's vice flaw thing that they may pursue is impetuousness, failure to think about consequences before acting. Nuec would call it bravery.
So brave.
So
You're
brave.
so dashing,
Thinking
Nuoc.
about things before you do them is a sign of weakness.
Okay, sure.
Take bold action, get glory.
Awesome.
So the next questions there's kind of 2 questions together, so I'm just going to smash them together. It's pretty much y'all through D&D in general, like D&D, especially 3.5, there's a lot of equipment that kind of defines your character. Yes. And so I asked you to make a giant list of all your kick-ass items, but my real goal in the long run was the second question of what is that one item that really helped define your character? Because what I want to do is I want us to create an artifact for every person to kind of embody parts of your, you could call it regalia that you had or whatever.
Sure. Gotcha.
Let me go through mine.
Yeah.
Every item he has is Brimstone named every item that he acquires after him. The pauldrons of Brimstone, they're legendary items, but they're not. It's like pauldrons of strength, yada yada. But since you just want the one that defines us, it sounds like, I think the one that defines him is his monk belt. Because that's an item, isn't it?
Yes.
It's called the monk's belt.
Yeah.
I would say that whatever form of lucidity he's still holding on to has held onto that belt because of what it means to him. And it reminds him of, he just feels a sense of familiarity with it. And it also gave him a pretty good boost to some of his monk stats.
Yeah, because it gave you an auto hit.
Yeah.
It gave you an auto counter. But those are both vengeance.
No, those were
those were the gems in the wolf.
those were that was the
Inside the
championship belt.
Yeah.
But he also had a monk's belt.
Oh, what was the one? What did that do?
It lets him, in D&D terms, it let him act like he was a monk of 4 levels
Yes.
higher.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which improved his flurry of blows and all that kind of stuff.
okay. How do we make this into an artifact?
I don't know.
I don't know, but it's it's one that he would hold on to.
I'm trying to think of-
I don't know what making artifacts is. So
Pretty
maybe
much,
you
we're
want
going to try
explain that to me for a minute.
Yeah. So artifacts, as John pointed out earlier, there's actually rules for this kind of stuff. So artifacts can do a few different things. They can hold effort inside of them. So pretty much you have effort to fuel the artifact inside of it is one thing you can do. And then going up in scale and cost, you can put a lesser gift into the artifact. Oh. And thus the effort that's stored the effort inside the artifact would be exhausted to use that lesser gift.
Yeah, the artifact, the effort that they hold, you can only use to power those gifts. You can't use it to power your own abilities.
Okay.
So it's basically, you just get free powers.
3 powers. Okay.
Right. But you can also make them constant that requires no effort, but that's double the cost.
Okay.
So
There's some gifts, when you look at them, they're just always in effect. That would be...
then there's, I guess I didn't read these ones. It gives the special ability of a bond to a specific word. I don't know.
So every word has a specific extra ability. It'll raise a stat, or the thief one, just
So
inherently...
the base power.
Yeah, you get that.
Wow. Okay.
Which a lot of them are pretty good.
Yeah.
So, if Mallanna took the Lich one, she would have 3 AC and have a bunch of Lich abilities.
I figured that
We'll
out.
see what she wants.
Yeah. Then there's allows dispelling effects as if it was a specific word.
It doesn't seem that handy. But, I mean, it's good. It's just not
Yeah. And then the 10th, this one you can't get at this time, is allows any miracle permitted to a specific word. But that costs 10. And as John pointed out, we have a maximum probably of 8 points probably that we'll be using.
So, yeah, there's a point-buy system to generate artifacts where a lesser gift that you have to use effort to use, like it says in the description, commit effort for whatever, that costs 2 points. A lesser gift that does not require any effort to use is 4 points. Greater gifts are 4 points, and greater gifts that never require effort are 8 points. And we have 8 points total to spend on making this.
And just to be clear, if you don't put any points of effort into the item, can you use your own points of effort to power it?
No.
I was going to say, I can make his mask an artifact.
Yeah.
And for madness.
So,
That would be cool.
Actually, would be really
that would be pretty dope, yeah.
So do you want the base madness or do you want a power from madness?
A power from madness.
Okay, which one?
I want the power insane logic.
It's a,
Oh, yeah.
It's a greater gift, and it's a constant. Is that a thing I can get?
so that would be the only thing you could have.
That's the only thing I can have? That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
So what does it do to let everyone know?
Okay, so insane logic. Lesser foes will never consider your actions to be unreasonable or inappropriate while you're in their presence. They will fight to defend themselves and their loved ones and will resist attempts to blatantly rob them or do them harm, but at no point will they perceive your actions to be illicit or irrational. At the very least, they will consider you to belong wherever you happen to be and have the right to do whatever it is you're doing. They may realize the unnatural character of these thoughts after you're no longer present.
Congratulations, you're an anime character.
He is an anime.
I walk into a bar and knock over all of the drinks and glasses. Everyone's like, that's reasonable.
I get why you did
I
that.
know why he did it. Walks out. Where's my drink? Did that guy just do that?
Artifacts are an item you can actually make using Dominion.
Yes.
Which is good because, like, for example, if you don't have lands to improve or significant changes to make in the world, you can always use Dominion to make artifacts that are relevant to you.
When that happens, I should say when that happens, it will take like effort and time and resources and role playing because even in the book they're like, it takes a month.
Yeah. I mean, it's not free, but it does give you...
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just more like it will be a project to accomplish.
Just go to Glam Roots.
Yeah, part of the thing about being a Godbound character, I don't know if we actually mentioned it yet, is that we had all of these cool-ass Magic D&D items, but now that we are divinities, lesser divinity, wimpy divinities, they basically just stop working like normal items.
Right.
Like, my cool-ass armor is now just a bunch of leaves that I have draped around me.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, the way I was thinking about it was that you, in the process of becoming a god, you absorb those abilities that were important to you from your items. And so some of them just became part of you.
Yeah, in some cases.
Not in every case.
But not in every case. But you can also, I was going to say, you can improve upon your artifact later. There's
Is that double the cost?
double the cost.
Yeah.
But still, it's an option.
All right. That was very easy for the first one. I think, John, you as well?
Well, how many points does it take to get the bond ability of a particular power?
3.
There is a thing called strifes, which are like martial arts for the gods.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite, and I think the crucial magic item for my character, was the Twilight Lotus Cloak of Zanye.
Yeah.
And really, the main ability it had the ability to disguise your alignment, which doesn't really matter anymore. And it also had the ability to make you completely cloud people's minds so they couldn't see you, which doesn't really matter anymore. But the one that it had that I really wanted to duplicate was the ability to swallow whole. We called it enfold, where I would encase someone in my cloak and they would just disappear in the void. Under the strifes, which again are martial arts for Godbound characters, they have a ability under Strife of the Hunger Within that with a little bit of color tweaking would seem to fit. The Godbound becomes capable. The idea is that the Hunger Within is where you eat things. But one of their abilities is you're capable of swallowing any single object or creature that could fit in a 10-foot cube as an action. Creatures can attempt an evasion save to avoid being swallowed, also very similar, and killed. And using this technique against a worthy foe requires that the adept commit effort for the day. The ability is useless against mobs. Yep. So I could take a single person, suck them into the void, and they would just disappear and die.
Yes.
The part of the question, I figured you'd be fine with that because it's not too broke. Yeah. But that ability is actually worth half a point during character creation.
What?
Yeah. So the way strifes work is that every strife has a beginning move that you have to take.
Which I would not be taking.
Which you would not be taking because it doesn't fit. Which is 1
So you
point.
have to build up. Okay.
And then there are 4-point gifts that are half a point. So you can take 2 of those for 1 point.
Uh-huh.
And then after you do all the little ones, there is a big finishing one that also
Is
costs
that the
1
eating
point.
hole is the big finisher for this one?
No, Swallow Whole is one of the little ones.
It's one of the little ones, yes.
The big finisher, which I put in the email, but I'm really questioning, is Devouring Void, where you basically, and I would view this as me just opening up my cloak and just sucking into the void whatever happens to come there. The adept becomes a physical void of bottomless hunger, consuming utterly any physical energies or objects that contact them. They are frozen in place and lose their next round's action. The adept, because I'm standing there just...
Oh, yeah.
And then I gain an invulnerable defense against physical harm until the end of the next round. Any objects physically restrain them are destroyed, and any creature touching or grappling them must immediately release them or abort their attack, or they will be consumed. Objects drawn into the void are utterly annihilated, and even the Godbound cannot produce them again from the void within. And that seems like overkill to me.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking about doing is if we could do the Swallow Whole, and then I've been griping about losing my ability to find things in the dark and see in the dark. Under Underworld, their bond power, Godbound to the Underworld have an intuitive sense of their surroundings out to visual range, aware of all objects as if by direct spatial consciousness, which sounds an awful like blind sense. The sense cannot perceive colors, but is minute enough to sense ink patterns on paper. They do not require air, food, or... This is the part I don't really want, but they do not require air, food, or water, and they have an invulnerable defense against harm from stone, earth, or environmental hazards underground. I would suggest taking that, but changing that to they do not require air, food, or water. They have an invulnerable defense against harm from space, vacuums, and the void.
But that's a bond, isn't that?
It is, and that's 4.
So
a bond is 3.
Right. So the Swallow Hole would be 2.
Yeah, so you're up to 5.
Go ahead.
What I was thinking, the Swallow Hole is not normally worth a full point.
But you have to build up to it. You have to already spend
That's
a
true.
point.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't want to take that because it's a bite. You chew your way. You're like matter eater lad or something. So I would suggest if I would take the Swallow Hole and the slightly altered Underworld bond, and that would be
5 points.
5 points, and then put the rest into effort.
But you'd only get 1 point of effort.
I only need 1 point of effort because I only have to commit 1 to use the Swallow Hole action.
And you did say up to 8.
Yeah, okay.
So that puts me at
7.
7.
So I didn't make 8.
Okay.
You did not budget appropriately. Shame. Shame.
So we're okay with me changing that Underworld to the void vacuum.
Yes.
Okay, so when I do my searching for things, out of my mouth, when I'm wearing my cloak, pours this darkness that just goes out like tendrils, and I feel around in the dark with my tendrils coming out of my mouth.
Disgust me.
That's cool.
Is that pretty cool?
It's not cool. Don't tell him it's cool.
Is that disgusting enough?
It's worse than cool.
So,
sign of things to come.
Thinking of the magic items Mallanna had, she had a lot. I'm thinking I really want to be able to fly still.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what, like, she lost her pixie wings, her natural pixie wings, in a tragic accident.
Completely forgot that, actually.
And now she has perfect wings from Santa. So was that or the assassin's eye?
Yeah, so that was the thing. Like, I was expecting assassin's eye.
Didn't you have a fake eye of Vecna?
I did, but it evaporated.
Because Vecna was like, nah,
That's not real.
That's not real.
a fake. So I just have my assassin.
The assassin eye is the reality.
The bending realities.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. And what made you a saint?
Keep that if you can.
So
But
this was
perfect wings from Santa.
Yeah, so this was the thing I was going to talk to everyone about because pretty much I would break it so Amber can still fly. Though I feel bad because like Fabulous Scar and the skin you have to spend points with. But I'm like,
but I was a naturally
flies.
Yeah, it seems to me like that's part of her origin.
That's part of my origin.
Okay, so we'll just give it because I like the Minotaur where he won't get lost. But like that's not really a power per se, but flying is a power in the system.
It is.
Yeah.
There is a word.
lesser gift.
There is a gift that gives you the ability to not get lost.
Yeah,
there is.
So
you never flew that fast, right? You could
no, she did not.
I had to.
She'd 60.
Yeah, but 120 going if I wanted to.
Oh,
go.
yeah, because perfect. Because
I had my
Santa.
perfect wings.
Yeah,
I
Santa gave 120.
So the one that's actually a gift, you have to commit effort. You fly it twice your usual movement rate, which the standard is 30, so 60. And then, if undistracted and able to fly in a straight line, you can reach speeds of 100 miles an hour. So, I don't think you're flying that fast.
No.
So, if we're not going to let you fly
It's
around
just flavor.
like a little car.
Let's just say it's a flight for flavor.
I guess the other thing that's kind of broken though is she can go invisible, but
I have no idea how to replicate that, other than stuff like thievery.
Oh wait, there is. Wait, I was just
because perhaps we just roll all into the assassin side, the invisibility and whatever.
Yeah,
for that.
well, here
Okay.
look, under night there is one of their greater gifts.
That's 8 points.
So I
Oh wait,
need,
it's under. I'm sorry, deception.
It would be pretty much all of your points. Also, the game is pretty loosey-goosey if you want to create gifts.
Yeah.
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 So maybe
that's
that
true.
could be my thing is we'll do the visibility as a lesser gift and then the reconfig. Wait, is it the opposite?
It's the opposite.
We'll do that and we'll call it something different and I can kind of write it up.
Now you see me, now you don't.
Now I see me, now you don't.
There is a lesser gift in Deception called Veiled Step, where lesser foes have no chance to detect you as long as you stay out of their immediate presence and don't draw attention.
There we go.
And worthy foes can try.
And the difference is invisibility, which the other one is a step up.
Yeah,
And you get a refund on the point because you can be in their presence right in front of them. They can't see you.
Walking Ghost is like you're completely invincible.
And I wasn't that way.
No, I mean,
like if they heard
You
her
still-
wings brush against
Yeah.
something,
Right.
she could be detected.
so it makes
Mallanna's-
sense to me.
Mallanna's always invisible, but also on the sidelines away from fire. and
So
stuff.
you could do Veiled Step, 2 points, a point of effort, which is another 2 points, and then you could do the luck one and another point of effort.
So it sounds to me like you actually have 2 artifacts. I mean, it doesn't make sense that they're one thing. Stylistically, you have an eyeball and you have fake wings.
I guess that just means she doesn't have both of her efforts pooled if she does that.
Yeah.
Well, my
You can only-
wings aren't an
Bad.
artifact. My wings are just. I'm going to say my wings are just like flavor. Like I'm always hovering. It's never like I'm flying away fast. Like if I need to reach up to like an 8-foot
I think
tall thing, I can hover up there.
I think it makes sense that the Assassin's Eye grants you invisibility too.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of
that's
assassinating.
true.
So you're saying 2 lessers and 2 points then?
Yeah. I
think so.
And so for the time one, it's not going to be whatever reflex. It pretty much is going to be like you can reconfigure anything, but if it's a greater foe, they have a chance to save against.
What was the name of the?
Reflex of regret.
But instead, it's going to be something different. If you do it to your allies, they're just going to be like, okay. But if you try to do it to, because like when you did the christening for the saint,
Yeah.
they had a chance to resist.
I mean,
Yeah.
you could even just call it rewind time or something like
or
that.
whatever.
Good.
Boom.
So you get that, invisibility.
And then 1 point of effort.
Right.
So
Okay.
I'm trying to think of mine. I'm like, do I really want to be able to act like a cartoon character, or do I want the base effects?
Sounds super fun.
It sounds super
great.
fun, but the base effect of madness is cool too, which means I'm immune to all effects to my mind, essentially. But
Embrace the madness.
but if anybody were to like try to read my mind or access my mind at all, I can do 1d6 damage to them if I want to.
You can increase your artifact later.
Yeah, I know.
I think it sounds more fun to.
Act like a cartoon.
Yeah.
Woo! I'm Brimstone. I'm drinking. I'm partying.
Slide in through the door. Hey,
it's Brimstone.
I mean, you kind of did that anyhow.
Yeah.
It's just now you won't get public shamings for it.
I think it's like when he first came to Mauxferry, they're like, oh, what the heck, and then now they're used to the guy, like, oh, that's Brimstone. That's Brimstone for you. Oh, he's
That's our
graffitiing the walls.
Brimstone.
There's Brimstone graffitiing the walls again. That's our Brimstone.
That's our Brimstone. Chris.
I had a lot of cool ass magic items and a lot of weird ones. But the 2 main things that really stick out to me are Fabular Skull,
Yeah.
because I went through a lot
I
to get
forgot
that
about
hit, to
Fabular
get him.
Skull.
And the other one was my Hat of Disguise, which I also got a lot of mileage out of,
I forgot about that hat.
constantly disguising myself.
I forgot all these crazy artifacts that you had. Or
I had a
equipment.
lot. Like I had also had this big ass evil sword. No idea what's going on with that.
Yeah.
I'm probably just,
Sword?
yeah. It was
forgot.
Yeah. I forgot what that
Can I
did
touch
as well.
it?
I did too. I never do.
Oh, yeah.
Can I fondle your sword for like a minute?
Pretty good.
I totally forgot what it does, too.
Yeah. Fabular Skull, this might be a good time to get away from it a little bit because I love it so much.
You might
but
want to explain to the listeners what Fabular Skull was.
Yeah.
Fabular is the skull of a demi-lich that it's basically this jewel encrusted, almost entirely jewel.
Yes.
Yes.
Jewel skull that I wear as a belt, as like the
As a cod piece.
As a
It's
cod
a cod
piece.
piece. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I could fly, I had electricity resistance, and I was immune to mind affecting stuff, and it's like...
But you couldn't get it off of you, right?
It would not come off.
Right. It's cursed.
It was destroyed in an adventure it was disenchanted.
Oh, that's right.
And I went through a lot of trouble to get it re-enchanted by elves.
I fucking hell.
That's right.
And they gi-assed me by crushing my junk.
Yes.
Every time I didn't do what they wanted.
Yes,
Little did they know was not a punishment. That's right. So,
yep.
Screw those guys. The thing is, it's not a great look for a saint.
That's
There's
true.
really anything I'd have. It's
Kind of Ed Hardy-ish.
Yeah, it's a bit. The hat of. It would feel weird making it an artifact, but because the hat of disguise is like a $2,000 magic item, 2,000 gold. So that's like, in D&D terms, that's rookie shit. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also super useful to be able to just disguise myself whenever I want.
Yeah.
You just make Fabular's skull into the disguise as well.
Oh, just put a little
Fabulous
cap.
hat.
I'll just put a little cap on.
A little cap on Fabulous skull.
You might want to look at Perfect Masquerade under Deception for your ability.
I know, that's why there's a couple deception abilities that look good. But
Whatever
anyhow,
you want.
I know. I was kind of hoping to get...
Look, we just made my Assassin's Eye take on an innate pixie ability to make me invisible. So I think Fabular could get a hat of disguise.
Yeah.
Just like fashion like a little brooch on top of his head that's a hat.
I was thinking like a little Santa beanie. You know?
No, a fez!
I was thinking a little beret.
Like, I was thinking of the top of Fabulous skull is sheared off, and it's like a beanie. That he would be the hat of disguise,
Yeah.
I was just thinking of like a little top hat.
like a tiny little top
On
hat.
top of the skull.
What about a cowboy hat?
Yeah, what about a cowboy hat?
That'd be nice.
And bump into my belly.
That's fine. You'd enjoy that, I think. It's a new sensation.
I want Fabular's face to mirror Azrael's facial.
Yes.
Like when he winks, the skull winks.
Oh my
It
god.
makes a tinkling noise like clink, clink, because it's
Yeah.
the gems when it grins.
You know what?
Just
I
the
was
shiny
And
red
it
gems.
like a twing, sparkle.
Sparkle, yeah.
going to redraw all our characters, and I completely forgot about Fabulous skull on your character. I was just like, oh
It's
man.
all good.
Flying is a lesser.
Right, but I don't know if I
yeah,
really care. I mean, it's nice, but it's not like...
What's the deception? Is it a greater or lesser?
It's a lesser that takes effort. So that's already 4 points. So it would be 2 points for the gift and then 2 points for the effort.
Right. And then you can do a lesser for flying, and then you have another one for another effort.
I guess that's not bad, is it?
But you could do something different.
I was tempted to take Liar's Flawless Grace, where your lies can never be detected as such by magic or other special abilities, and lesser foes will always believe them unless they're completely implausible.
How does it interact with your command? Does your command have something like that already, or no?
No. Command is not about
It
lying.
does seem like that would replicate your incredible bluff ability you used to have.
Yeah, I was pretty good at bluff, too.
I mean,
So-
you just bluff the hell out of everything.
Yeah.
I had like a 48 diplomacy and like a 32 bluff. So
You do, that's a constant, so that's 4 points.
yes. So I was thinking of doing the Liar's Grace and the Perfect Masquerade and 1 effort point, which would be all 8 of my points.
Yeah. What would that be then?
Probably just be a hat.
Maybe you wear a Fabulous skull over your own head.
You could fashion Fabulous Scar to be like a masquerade mask.
They're like the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet,
That'd be
actually.
pretty sweet.
Okay, yeah. Let's do that.
Okay.
What does the art department think of this?
You got a lot of gems to draw.
You don't have to draw it like that. I don't care.
That's fine. Like,
But yes, I will totally turn Fabular's skull,
like a mask.
bore it
Yeah,
out,
kinda like a-
shear it.
I almost think of it as like the Dia de
So what?
Yeah.
Maybe like a half skull, like a half
So
skull.
like get the half of your
Yeah.
and the lower half sticks out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think I always have it in my back pocket, but I don't always wear it because it's a pretty evil look.
Well, maybe. I mean, that's when you're not disguised as somebody.
That's true.
Whenever you're disguised as somebody, that just looks like their face.
Yeah.
I'll disguise myself as myself without the mask.
Right. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Only when someone can truly see through it, they're like, what?
What?
What is that kinky mask?
That's right. For ladies, you're like, you want to see something? Check this out.
And then you pull it off, and there's you underneath. Taking that off for that, and then you taking that
I'm
off.
an onion, baby.
Wow.
There's Azrael all the way down.
My favorite magic item is the Hand of Skittles, which Skittles was our first real crime boss that kept giving us orders. He was a large fat halfling that really screwed us over on multiple occasions. So we burned down his lair, and I took his burned hand and cut it off and turned it into a crude necklace as a trophy.
I'd like to point out that I helped with my mortician skills, as I recall.
I burned everything down.
Yeah.
It was a real team effort.
Yeah, I took one for the team. That's right.
So it was enchanted.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Ugh.
And it was super cool. And then I had to run in with a gelatinous cube that removed all the flesh off
Just bones.
Skittles' hand. So now it's a skeletal hand that's kind of hooked together with
Rivets and stuff.
Yeah. Used to be enchanted with gems in each of the fingers. Mm-hmm. The thumb would heal me 3d8 plus 15 hit points after I fell unconscious once per day.
Wake up.
The index finger would let me reroll a will save once a day. Mm-hmm. The middle finger would give me plus 20 on my next attack roll.
That's it.
Once a day.
F you to who's getting hit by that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the ring finger allowed me to grant 1 hour of poison to whoever I wanted.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, first of all, there's not enough points in
No.
heaven or earth to make that.
Not right now.
And truthfully, I don't even know. I mean, like, none of those are, like, huge, but they all take points. I mean...
Yeah. You could do the thing where you don't die. What was it? The Phoenix? Or whatever.
I don't know, and that's the other problem. I really read up on the gifts I took, and I didn't memorize the rest of the book, so I don't even know what's out there.
Because you played the Phoenix in our one shot.
Yeah.
In Endurance, there's Undying. You can be brought to 0 hit points, mutilated, burnt. You cannot actually be killed except by the effect of it or aid of a word-powered gift. If not slain, you regenerate back to 1 hit point from your largest remaining piece. Which is pretty much like a souped-up version of Skittles.
Yeah.
Because it's that'd be all Skittles' hand could do, but you would not die. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's kind of Skittles.
So how many points would that take to...
8.
Everything.
That would take everything. Okay.
It's just a greater constant.
And you
Right.
would never die unless
They used...
had a gift.
Yeah.
Unless somebody had a power murder that kills you dead.
Yeah.
Now,
that brings up an interesting point. In Godbound, defensive powers always beat offensive powers. So,
right. But his is
And it specifically says that.
his unless
and
it
that it is
specifically
aided by a
says
word.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's fine.
now, could I use a miracle to enact that power as is because I have endurance?
No,
No, because
can't-
it's a greater.
cannot
You
do
can
graders.
You cannot do graders.
But you could wait until next level and just learn that power if
Yes.
you wanted.
Right. The other magic items that I really liked were the Cloak of Cryon's Lost Flesh, which allowed me to fly 3 times a day and have clairaudience 3 times a day. That was super sweet. I did like that. I also had the Sacred Heart of the Dead Druid that, ignoring the poison attack, but did allow me to teleport 5 times a day. And I did get lots of mileage out of that.
You got
sucker.
a shit ton out of that.
Like I say, I'm kind of stuck here because I feel like
You had lots of nice toys.
I'm not even really sure how to build it or get there or what even I like the lore of Skittles' hand, and maybe whatever I build will end up looking like that.
Because next level you just be like, I don't die.
Right, and well, that could just be a word. Or that could just be a gift.
Right.
Like I've already got the word. I'm already in there. It's just I can take that as an innate thing.
There is a Vital Furnace. Commit effort for the day. Instantly heal any hit points lost since the end of your last turn, provided the harm didn't kill you.
It's pretty good.
Is that constant or on turn?
It's on turn. So it'd be 2, and then he'd need at least 1 effort on the hand.
Okay, so that would be 3 on the hand.
It'd be
4.
4.
And then you could do... I'm not seeing a good way to do the teleport thing
But you
right
need.
now.
But you need.
But if he wants to do Skills Hand, I'd probably go with Vital Furnace.
Right.
With an
do
effort
that.
then.
Do that. And then you could tie the flying into it if you wanted. Because you did talk about wanting to get your flying.
Right.
With Vital Furnace, that costs 4. What if I take the health word? Because that gives me immunity to poison.
That's 3 points.
Okay, so then I'm at 7, which is kind of fun.
There's just luck as it is as well. Here's gifted luck.
Maybe
May roll
yeah.
May roll a d20 once a day. At any time during the day, they may replace their own or someone else's d20 with the one in reserve. You can only replace a roll once per day. but that doesn't necessarily always help.
Like, okay, as we've built teleport, 5 times a day, go wherever I need to go. Would you consider that a lesser or a greater gift?
That's a greater gift for sure. Because most of the lesser gifts in the game most of the teleports in the game are lesser gifts
because they have constraints.
With a constraint.
Like
and
environmental.
They require an effort.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you wanted to be unlimited teleport, I would say it's a greater gift that requires an effort. Because then it has no constraint.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
So that would be 6 points, and he could then buy 1 point of effort to use it once a day.
You can only teleport once, then. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Compared to.
I mean, there's no way he can afford to teleport more than once a day.
Yeah.
Or maybe twice a day if we make it a lesser gift and limit it to areas he's only been.
Well, that's how it was originally.
Was it?
Yes.
I thought you could just randomly.
You would have had to been there. I thought we agreed upon. Every single place he's ever been to, he's like, I just go there because I
know what that
I
looks
could
like.
see that. I mean, I could see that being a lesser gift if you're constrained to only places you've been before. Because the other teleports, it doesn't have to be somewhere you've only been. The sun one is anywhere that has sunlight within a mile.
Can we build that all into the Skittles hand, or should it be 2 separate items?
I think it makes more sense to have it as one.
You can have it as one if you want.
I think making it all Skittles hands kind of makes sense.
We got it. Skittles hand is now a teleporting and healing.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems pretty on brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
it touches you.
pretty much though, in theory, since he has 2 effort, he could actually use both for the same thing.
Yes.
Let's do that.
Okay. Woo!
So it's a hand of Skittles with 2 effort and 2 abilities.
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh. Retracing the steps.
All
Yeah.
right, that's what we call it.
That's a good
Retracing the steps.
Oh my god, we
Next.
still have 25 questions!
Yeah,
I
it
know.
turns out this was a little extensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a bit excessive, Josh.
I know. So let's go fast.
Okay.
All right.
We got to talk about rumors.
Yeah, let's do rumors. So rumors are like,
What, they're rumors.
yeah, they're rumors that I can act upon
Yeah.
at any time.
I have none.
I have one true rumor about my character.
All right.
There's a boogeyman who hunts the followers of the sun god in the darkness of the night. And I have one false rumor. Maybe I shouldn't read the false rumor.
No, do it.
The boogeyman molests and eats the followers of the sun god, to which Gerlach says, I never touch one of those filthy fat sack humans in any intimate way. Fat sacks are for stabbing. Eating them, though. That sounds good.
I thought you were too thick to do the girl.
That sounds succulent.
Wow.
This is what you're in for, everybody.
Yeah.
Just a sample.
Honestly,
Classic Gerlach.
Classic.
That's our Gerlach.
That's Gerlach. He is
Do
crazy.
you remember the sitcom we made?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our Gerlach.
does he even count as a cannibal since he's not technically...
No, humans
Yeah,
are the
no,
same
he's
species.
different. I mean, minotaurs eat.
I mean,
okay.
you eat pork chops.
All right. Okay. What?
No, I'm just saying that's not cannibalism.
That was lightning enough, right?
Yes. That's
Right,
good.
yeah.
Good.
All right. One true rumor about Mallanna. Mallanna's spite is the only thing keeping her alive at this point. It's the only thing holding her together, really. False rumor about your character. Mallanna was once a nice, sweet pixie, but that was like 80 years ago.
So you were never a nice pixie?
Yeah, and it's probably longer than 80 years.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
One true rumor about Brimstone is he dated a celebrity for 1 hour.
Yes.
And one false rumor is that he is the leader of a dragon-themed gang.
It does sound like Brimstone, though.
Yeah, it does.
One true rumor about Nuoc is that he has several lockboxes of wealth stored in a hidden location.
Forgot about that until you actually wrote that down because you were doing that.
Yeah, I was doing that.
Crap.
Squirreling it away.
Yeah.
Taking it from the worm's butt.
Nope.
No. There was just a couple times where we came up a lot of loot, and he's like, I'm going to go do this thing. And I was like, oh, okay, because he's like, for family and for later when I got to bug out.
Okay.
401k.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I think I'm...
Wait, do you see your family know where those loot boxes
Yeah.
are?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The
may not
false
be
rumor
dead
is
then.
that to touch Nuoc is instant death.
That's really not a false rumor.
No,
It is false now.
Now.
It is now.
That's a good point.
The true rumor about Azrael is that I put about 80% of the fiend-blooded population in Mauxferry are related to him directly.
Yep.
The false rumor is that he has augmented junk. He does not. It's all natural.
all natural.
It is the one thing that he has not replaced.
Nice.
Actually, no, there's
There's more stuff, but yeah. That's one he's like, no.
I'll keep it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy.
So there's all this. I asked you to do true rumors about each other, and I found out that was uncomfortable. So let's just skip that.
Yeah.
But let's have some fun and talk about false rumors about everyone.
I would say I just wrote rumors. Like maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong.
Yeah. So let's just make like
They're all wrong.
All right.
Okay.
at least do
Who
one
wants to go
false
first?
rumor.
I don't have
Azrael has an addiction to Gygax, and when he's high, he hallucinates visions about his body, and that's when he makes changes.
It's not an addiction.
I can stop anytime.
Just a hobby.
That's an afternoon.
I could see Azrael liking the drugs,
But
but I'm immune to them now, so it's no fun.
yeah.
Gerlach has had all of his Palor holy symbols melted down and dipped in demon blood, and his dagger was crafted from the resulting cursed metal.
Wow.
That's pretty sweet. That's a really good rumor.
It's a really good rumor.
You're going to have to give me these later.
They should be.
Okay, cool.
Brimstone can't eat ice cream or other cold things, so it will put out his fire and he loses his power.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like a little Charmander.
I'll lose my power if I eat that, child. Don't give me your ice cream.
Get that away from me! Padre Leche is the real person, and Azrael is the disguise.
That's really good.
Like he's a double agent sent from Palor to like,
Yeah.
Which really isn't that far from truth, really.
So for the viewers, listeners, Padre Leche was a character that Chris came up with to infiltrate a church of Palor to like persuade
he was-
followers.
It was his disguise.
we were trying to get the poor people to rise up against their oppressors, and so he created Father Leche to have a church in the poor district
Yeah.
and
Did a great
incite
job.
them. Yeah.
Mallanna is the thrall of a more powerful lich.
Oh, dang.
Kind of true.
That's pretty much lich. He is.
Yeah, he
he's
is the
literally
lich
a
god, basically.
But
I'm not a troll
All of a
yet.
sudden we become. Mallanna's raven is carrying on a torrid love affair with a skeletal cat.
That's pretty fun.
Sounds plausible.
I forgot about the raven.
So did Amber. Yeah.
I've learned I can't play any character class that has like a familiar, unless it's like a huge mechanical bonus or like
an animal companion kind of thing?
Yeah, can't do it. I left a wolf behind in the. No. Yeah, I left it.
And
Sad.
finally, Brimstone doesn't use iron weapons because he is Fey.
My false rumors are that Nuoc is the king of Minotaurs. All of them.
Yes.
False rumor, Mallanna is actually not a necromancer. She's an illusionist.
Oh,
that's good.
That's a really good one.
Little known fact, Brimstone is actually chaotic good.
Oh, dang.
And then my rumor,
because of the madness.
Gerlach is not real. Gerlach is who? Nobody knows who Gerlach is. I have trouble imagining that there are people who actually know Gerlach as a person.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
I
the
agree.
boogeyman.
I think there are widespread rumors of serial killers running around town.
yeah.
Nobody's connected the dots that it's all one skulk.
Right.
Yeah.
Except for, like,
I mean,
Bigwigs.
because the calling cards were different every time. So.
he's just so random.
Because
Cat
you were like,
whiskers.
cat whiskers.
Yeah, I went for cat whiskers for a while.
Stuff written in blood.
Maybe the only
Yeah.
consistent thing you do is steal holy symbols. Mm-hmm. Okay, those are
And kill people who are followers of Palor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but most people in the city are, so.
Open license.
Nuoc once ate a god's heart and gained their powers.
Yes. That's true. That's because I've killed so many gods.
Sure. Gerlach doesn't belong to this plane of existence.
Correct.
1/8 of
Oh,
the
I wish.
1/8 of the orphan guild is comprised of Azrael's bastards.
False.
9/8.
There's orphans waiting to get in. Come on, man. Let me know when you have an opening.
And I just have Brimstone once punched a ghost to death because I couldn't think of anything else. But
That's a very
think
DeMarco thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I could punch a ghost.
Well, of course you can punch a ghost.
Yeah. I
mean, your weapons, your fists count as magical weapons.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention it with the word of dragon, but my punches are still considered magic.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So hey, he could have.
Could punch a ghost.
That could be a true rumor. All right, so let's go to the Tales from Mauxferry rumors.
One false rumor is that Gambo's dead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you had that.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's my only rumor. It's a false one.
It's a false one, but people think he's dead.
And then I guess one true rumor is that, he's in hiding, maybe. Like, they're just passing around. It's like there's a confliction of ideas between each other.
Gambo was a lizard man fence who was also trying to be
He was an
a
aspiring
star.
actor, and he had it. He was
We were gonna support him to help him. Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
he's perfect. He's a star.
He doesn't need
he's
help.
a real star. Yeah, he didn't need
Lady Gaga. And Brimstone is his Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So my true rumor, in dispute possibly is that the evildoers did much to repair and improve Mauxferry.
We did. We made a big, giant community swimming pool.
And
Right.
since we've been gone so long, the false rumor is the evildoers were destroyed by the demigoddess Mallanna.
Yeah,
That sounds fair.
that's got to be true.
That's
Or-
true.
Yeah, I think that's true.
That's
We're
true.
dead.
We're dead.
We dead.
We never existed.
Throw these characters out. You're all making new ones. Evildoers are dead.
I have that Club Klub is revived, but it is a kind-hearted neighborhood watch organization.
Oh, nice. Club? Mm-hmm. Oh, are you calling it Club Klub?
Right.
Okay, well.
It's an artsy name.
Yeah.
the name.
This is a bridge, but that Chewclock has formed an alliance with Monsters Pink, and together they are starting to construct Monsterville.
Oh, I completely forgot about Chewclaw.
I completely forgot
Me
that.
too. I don't even remember him on the list.
I forgot
Wow.
that Chewclaw
he was like
an
powerful
orc?
too.
I
like,
did not-
Chewclock was an orcish manservant that I hired, and became a sex wizard.
So
A
on the
sex
on the
worker.
list of NPCs that you care about, I don't remember any of the NPCs' names either. I had myth ended that tiefling who runs the magic store. Too bad he's dead.
Yes.
And the corpse wannabes or any of those unholy bastards working for Paylor.
I didn't even
We'll
bother
get back to
putting.
that.
Just throwing out there.
I do have one more rumor.
Yes.
I had love for Chewclock, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Mama Gumbas has been pressured to offer an all-you-can-eat shrimps day on Thursday nights. They are going bankrupt because the Orca people are eating too many.
The Orca people.
Orca people.
No.
This is a real problem.
It is.
I love adding random new races to this game. It's always so fun.
Hey, Orca people were real. Josh made them up.
They're real.
No,
Remember
they
that?
were in the
They're in
D&D.
the monster manual.
Yeah.
They're in a 3.5 supplement about sailing.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Canon.
Storm Rack, yeah.
Those are all my rumors.
Okay, I have a rumor. I have two rumors. So I have my true rumor is the Order of Fire and Blood are opening old and new portals to hell throughout Mauxferry.
I thought we killed them all.
Oh, since this aired, no, because you guys took what's her face and you just kicked her off the end.
Xanthra, yeah.
You took Xanthra and you just kicked her off of the cart.
Right.
Well, what happened to her?
And literally the cart was just moving like 2 inches a minute. Okay.
Died.
No,
It was a tragic
we
fall.
did not see the bullet go into her head. She did not die.
If I
no
remember,
double
Wheels,
counting.
the wheels run over.
So my false rumor is the Sandsmans
Yes.
hold knowledge
yeah.
about a living nightmare.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
They are the Sandsmans.
They are the Sandmans.
Sandsmans.
So is that
Sandsmans.
true or false?
That's my
False.
false rumor.
That should be true. Love it.
Be true.
You can act on it like it's true.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw that into ambiguous.
All right. We got.
I did not have a false rumor because
That's fine.
I don't know why, but my true rumor was that Monsters Pink services many church officials of all ranks.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Absolutely 100% true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris is like, yeah.
I had two rumors. There's a source of infinite gold that's controlled by the Goblin Bank Confederacy.
That's not true.
That's
not
true.
true at all.
That's not true.
And my false rumor is Count Sacula is not real and is just a tool of capitalism to push crappy food to children and their parents. Their busy
Count
parents.
Sacula is
Count-
real.
he's real.
He lives in my heart and in my dreams.
Pretty real now.
I think that's going to be one of
That's why it's
Brimstone's.
false.
I think Brimstone's going to be obsessed with Count Sacula when he finds out.
So
Let's go on to these NPCs. So name as many NPCs that you remember or cared about from Evil as Evil Was.
Oh, I got one. Gambo. Gambo the Great.
Gambo the Magnificent.
Yeah,
I didn't even write
Check.
Gambo down.
Gambo, check.
I did not write Chewclock down because I figured everyone else would.
Chewclock was number one on my
That's
list.
a very
I
smooth move
I also-
to be like, I didn't forget him.
I also forget
No,
the
I
name
really
of,
didn't.
I completely forgot your call.
I forget the name of the actress that I dated for an
Yes.
hour. But
Amelia
it's-
Stargazer
Amelia
is on here as
Stargazer.
well.
It's pretty
Check.
close. It's pretty close.
Her cat,
Her cat.
Is dead.
Yeah. there's
orphan boy Batman.
It's dead.
It took me so long to figure out, I stewed a lot about who was dead and who was alive.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't remember some of them.
So here's what I got: Orphan boy Batman, Tony Soup, Padre Leche,
Yep.
the saint that taxed us.
Wait, who's
No, that
He's
was
dead.
Oh, he's dead.
Massimiliano,
Okay.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did we kill him?
What was the person after Tony Soup?
Padre Leche, who is Azrael.
Azrael.
I guess he's not an NPC.
No.
He's
Padre Leche
the
was
priest
great,
we
though.
corrupted, the one that had the phylactery that we
Priest
took.
Myers?
Priest Myers.
Myers, that's right.
And then honestly, it's just the four families.
What's the
Yeah.
Underhills, Matasuron, South, and I can't remember the fourth one.
what's her face that Gerlach had enslaved?
Priestess Petri.
Spectre.
Spectre, yes.
She's on there. Okay.
I have her listed on my sheet as meat nun.
I'm glad she got out.
Yeah.
She's
Man.
gonna be pissed.
That's all I
when
got.
it comes.
That is like, if she ever writes a book, that's an inspiring story.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if it's inspiring.
It's inspiring that
Well,
she-
she'll never
free.
write a book because she's not
Let's put it
smart
this
enough
way.
to write a book.
She has a lot of levels now, and it's thus inspiring to a lot of people.
Wow.
She
I
should
can get through all this crap.
She should go
right
on a
now.
she should go on a holy campaign to eradicate us.
Anyone else?
Yes, I put my cohort, Tulio Stinktongue.
Yes, Tulio.
Ding.
Say his name again?
Stinktongue. He was an Asimar, basically, nerd.
Yeah, I remember him now.
He's cute.
Beautiful.
I remember
Beautiful.
him now.
He's there.
The Rat Man?
What's his
Do you remember
name?
him? I don't remember his name.
No, either.
The guy who had Tweeter.
Yes. Yeah, Tweeter.
And,
And
he
we,
wear rats.
That he was like our informant.
at some point we had a document with, because those were rumors going in from season 1 of
Yeah.
Evil to season 2 of Evil.
Guess I'll go look for them.
That was in there, I believe.
Okay.
The Park District guards that we bribed, bought boots for, and went to a ball with, his name was Corporal Anderson.
Oh, yeah, because he leveled up.
Morgana,
Morgan the Merilith.
Morgan, sorry. I had
Oh, yeah, Bartholomew.
and Bartholomew. Yep. I had Glambert, of course. Big Bug.
Big Bug.
Glimbert as well?
Glimbert, I believe, died.
Oh.
No.
He didn't die?
Yeah, Glimbert was the one that disowned you because
Yeah.
you brought heat onto his boyfriend with that
Right.
illegal stuff.
Right.
With the holy items.
Yes.
Of Palor, the holy.
So he
Paladin.
said, I need you to leave or I think
Yeah.
they may have been married. I don't know.
Yeah.
Significant other was not happy about it.
Partner.
Partner. There we go. Thank you.
Obviously, the Goblin Bank we've talked about.
Yeah.
The Silver Thread isn't necessarily a person, but it is a notable location.
This is- yeah.
Metzper.
Oh, can't forget that's
Metzger. Poor Metzger.
Such a sad creature.
I'd like him to be the sidekick of.
He was an
Priest Spectre
amalgamation
now.
of a creature.
It's like Batman and Robin in there.
They team up.
Because, I mean, they both escaped together, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah. That's their story.
I believe we mentioned the Batman child that
Yeah,
was left to
oh,
live.
yeah.
Helvetica is obviously not a... I mean, she's kind of an NPC, but she's a demigod.
Yeah.
And then I had one more in my notes that I'm pretty sure is a thing. Alabaster Winthrop, the Button King of Mauxferry.
Oh. Did I
right,
make
when
up
you were
that
going-
character?
He came up when we robbed the Goblin Bank, didn't he?
Yeah.
There was all these dead people
there
that
were the-
preserved for later on when they could bring their spirits back to the bodies, and that was one of the people.
Oh, because there was a collection of buttons in the bank.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
who collects buttons? I was like, oh, it's Alabaster.
Alabaster Winthrop.
It's just a good NPC, and I don't care.
What was the title for
The
him?
Button King of Mauxferry.
Button King of Mugs.
I like to think that it's like Dread Pirate Roberts.
Yeah.
That one Button King just like takes over for the other, and it's a title more than as a name.
Yes.
Even though the original is like, I'm just waiting to get my body and spirit back
Right.
together.
When the OG Alabaster
Yeah.
comes back, it's gonna be a thing.
I do have 2 editions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bucket.
Yeah.
Can't forget Bucket.
I figured I wasn't sure if I needed to put him in since he was on my person.
He's the biggest damn mimic in the world now.
I brought him with me.
Okay.
I know that when
All
we
right.
killed my Henne.
Okay. He's with you then.
And then Catman.
Your original
The-
Catman you played? Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
We've
that's
had
a
him.
callback.
We've had him riding around somewhere.
Yeah. I also had Shaden and Kage.
Sure. Those aren't NPCs.
Vendeloth Modiciron.
Yes.
Right.
Umlager, son of Undlager, stout here
yeah.
of the stout name. Sybil Underhill. Lord Action.
Wait, who's that druid I seduced?
Wait, who's Lord Action?
I think it's Sybil.
Is it someone?
I think it's Sybil. It was an Underhill, I know that.
Okay.
Lord Action was the, I guess we would call him now the ruler or king or whatever of the Iron Dragoon.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The King of the Iron Dragoon.
I don't, he is the top of the top. Commander, I guess.
Commissar.
Sure. Paction Armarian, who is the Pope. MC Octo.
Oh, I had MC Octo and I
The
didn't
who
write it
couldn't
down.
rap.
Take it.
Gee,
Yeah.
I take a contempt at NPC.
I take a point of contempt.
Give me a gummy bear. That's contempt.
I know that I filled in for you every time you tried to
Yeah.
do line for him.
I
but
listened to that
like
episode recently.
But I'm gonna just let it ride that the canon is he's trying
He's
to.
bad, yeah.
He's an MC, but he just can't rap.
Because the person that actually pointed out in the comments for that episode on the podcast was like, oh, that character that you're basing off him, he actually can't rap all the way. But I didn't know because I never listened to the English translations. I always listened to the Japanese, so I didn't quite pick up on that joke.
Awesome.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
That's another one.
So your
And he's pretty close to the anime. So
your references are anime and old memes.
Pretty much.
It's what I know.
I mean, he played Grumpy Cat, for God's sakes.
Wait a minute, I thought it was Shia LaBeouf.
It's
It's Shia LaBeouf.
You don't have the Bug Boy in there?
Put him on there.
What's his
Bug
name?
Boy.
Jimmy Hawthorpe.
Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah, I mean,
you gotta put him in
that's
there. He's older now.
Did we name him after Jimmy Hoffa? Jimmy Hawthorpe?
He's got to be older now, and he's got to be awesome.
I also had Athenal Windburner, who was supposed to be the one that was supposed to be the sainted person.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that we ever picked up that name. I don't remember that name.
It was
He's a corn-based fuel.
Amelia Stargazer, and then
Nobody gets
everything
my
else
joke.
is there.
I got it. It just wasn't funny.
What about mysterious hidden figure that I encountered in the church?
I actually did write down his name, but I did not put on the list because I didn't know if I told anyone his name.
You didn't.
Okay, I'm going to keep that in my back pocket then, because I do have a secret NPC list, and I was like, I know you've met these people, but these other ones, yes, that is one of them.
Well, this the hooded man that we also speculate is just me from the future.
Wait, Brother John, you came up with an NPC we haven't met yet?
No. Actually, I did. It's on my list. And
There is one.
Yeah, but I made him up.
I'm making him.
You're making him?
Yeah,
Okay.
we are agreed upon.
They're in cahoots.
All right.
So these next three questions were more of like, I was trying to get out of you guys relationships in general, because one of the things that for Tales from Mauxferry Season 1 that seemed to really flourish was like, we already had established relationships that you people cared about in some manner. And I felt like in Evil as Evil Does, at least the initial seasons, there weren't a lot of relationships that you guys cared about. So I was just seeing if there are relationships that you guys cared about. And that's what I'm trying to get out of with these three questions of who is a close friend of your character, who is a rival of your character, and who does your character hate the most. Pretty much I want, and you don't need to answer these exactly. It's like, give me some NPCs that we've already talked about, or you can make up that your character would care about.
Okay.
I don't have any positive relations.
I
have the guy.
That is part of the problem with the overtly evil characters, is we didn't pick up a lot of buddies.
Right, and that's why I was like...
And all of our buddies,
Especially
we burned, basically.
Since Brimstone is still relatively new, it's kind of hard for him to make like a lasting relationship.
And that's why I
with the
asked
characters.
also like, well, is it like from the past? Like before you even got to Mauxferry kind of deal?
Oh, well, I can think more about that.
I was
I
just
don't
a
wanna think about
child.
my past.
That's fine.
But Shaden and Kage would be, I guess, by your terms, NPCs that I have relationships with.
Yeah.
I put the character I hate the most is the elf son. I don't think we ever ended up killing him.
No.
The birthday party elf.
Oh, I don't remember
I
his
don't remember
name.
his name either. He was a family member though.
He was like one of the sons of the leader.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't like head honcho. He was like a third son or something.
Did you not have anything for close friend or rival?
I didn't. No.
You didn't? Okay. I put for Mallanna as a close friend, you know, she doesn't really, nothing living. She doesn't really like people in general, but I said her first ever skeleton she raised, I think he's still alive.
Somewhere, yeah.
I hope he's still alive.
Was he the one we had in the house for a long time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good one.
and
he was a birdcage for the raven for a while.
yes. I like to think she's basically, that's the only thing that she talks to because it doesn't really talk back. Mm-hmm. So it's just like a way for her to like get her frustrations out
Professional.
to something that's kind of like acknowledging her.
Yeah.
It's like a walking diary.
Yeah, and I can't even remember what his name is or how we found him or anything, but he's better still be there. And if he's not, she'll just make another one.
Gosh. Yeah. I'd like to go back and find that, because we named him.
I can't remember what his name was.
I have no idea. It's a
idea.
long,
I'll
long
have to
time
look at
ago.
my notes, but yeah, so then a rival of your character, I don't think she has one yet. I think today, actually, Azrael might be kind of rivalry-esque now.
I could accept that.
But we could also use this season to establish one, especially since she's starting to follow Vecna and wants to gain favor with Vecna. So I'm thinking maybe there might be another Vecna worshiper or acolyte or something that might be her rival in a sense.
Yeah.
I listed Gerlach as my rival.
What?
Right.
What are we rivals for?
Everything. I can't defeat you
So
because you're immortal, so that makes us...
my close relationship is with Gambo. He's my best bud. He's the best. Gambo
I thought you said Gerlach, the Shadow of
Wait.
Death, was your best friend.
I didn't
Yeah.
think... Do these characters actually know Gambo?
Yeah,
I know Gambo.
Oh, that's no Gambo.
I know Gambo.
Everyone knows Gambo.
Everyone
The
knows.
lizard? The actor lizard?
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought that was Night Snails.
No.
Not Night Snails.
It's all running together.
because that was like our one contact in the theater district as Evil Doers.
Yes.
And then Night Snails was all set in the theater district.
Right.
So-
Yeah.
Interesting.
My rival is Steven, and I hate Shalazar the Wizard so bad.
So
Steven?
bad.
Who's Steven? He's my rival. Didn't you hear me the first time?
That's his only professional title. It's like
Rival.
It's like a
Steven.
Pokemon rival.
I hate Steven,
His
but
only,
he's pretty
his only
cool
job
too,
is to
so.
travel the world and make his life slightly more difficult.
I didn't say
And they get punched in the face and give him a revive.
Mallanna just hates all, elves and goblins.
What's that game called where you bounce
Yeah.
a coin into a cup? Or like
Quarters.
quarters? Yeah, I can't beat Steven in
Coins.
quarters.
Coins.
Wait, I thought quarters was where you flick quarters at each other's knuckles
That's
until
the
someone
other
bleeds.
quarter.
That's different quarters.
But that is also
Two
quarters.
reckon-
I think in this world it's called silvers.
Yeah. Anyway, Steven's just a
Probably
placeholder
coppers.
for now until I make like a real one. I'll have to think it over now that you brought up that I can just make up stuff from the
Yeah.
past.
I can't think of any people Gerlach has left alive.
Right. That was my problem.
Cooper.
I mean, I can think of lots of people who were Gerlach's enemies. He's left a trail behind.
Well, there's Priestess Spetri.
Right.
That might be a friend. You might think of her as a friend now.
It's complicated.
It's
It's not right.
Right.
She is going to be pissed when she sees you.
she's gonna be mad.
I mean, luckily she'll never see him because he's invisible. He
Yeah,
doesn't exist.
good point, yeah.
She has 16 words of power.
Really?
There's different scales that you can make monsters, and if they're adventurers, usually they will have one word. If they're really high adventurers, they have two, and then you get the Godbound level.
Not to mention, we've been gone 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've basically spent time in the hyperbolic time chamber and like leveled
Well,
up.
Exactly.
We were in the hyperbolic. Yeah.
No, because we
they
didn't get
were.
any. Well, I guess we did
In,
get
in
Time
reference
chamber.
to you guys,
Yeah.
they were.
The hyperbolic time chamber was for Goku and them to get a year's worth of training within a day.
I would love to know what happened to the Bat Boy. I mean, I think that would be nice.
Yes.
I mean, he'd be like 30 now.
Yeah.
Prime Bruce Wayne
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
That is primo Batman, peak human word.
Why there's still 20 more questions
All
after
right.
this?
Okay, let's
Do you want the new factions?
let's do factions.
Yeah.
Gambonis, diehard fans of Gambo the Great.
Yeah.
Gambinis.
Gambini.
Gambonis.
Gambonis.
Gambonis like a Zamboni, but it's Gambonis.
All right. I had one I had called The Balance, a very large group of cell swords originating from the forest, or originating from outside of Mauxferry. They're well known for their covertness and mastery of the elements.
I had comet callers. People who worship the falling comet. They want Mauxferry to be purged of sin and pray for more comets to fall upon Mauxferry.
Love it.
The Velvet Pain is Chuklok's cabal of sex wizards.
That's pretty good.
I had the Void Seekers, a nihilistic cult worshipping Zanye who seek to bring all reality to an end.
Man.
What you have, Azrael?
I had the Children of the Red, which is like a pseudo-religious cult dedicated to Azrael.
We really, really, really like cults, apparently.
Yeah.
I have
My-
an extra one. I was
Wait,
guys
no,
throw
I'm
in.
not done.
You guys are making cults. I made a fan club.
That's right. That's right. We're not a cult, guys. We just really like it.
We just really obsessed
we
about
have a
Gamma.
quarterly zine.
Quarterly soon.
We're letting blood for Gambo this week.
My other faction is the Wappin' Whites. They're undead spirits who harass a business or noble until they start speaking in rhymes.
I don't like this.
Yes.
The Rappin' Right.
Wappin' Whites.
Wappin'
The
Whites.
weapon.
Okay,
Or-
so
We're the Wappin' Whites, and we bring you a curse. The only way to lift it is to speak in verse.
gut steak.
Are you doing this to make Josh use this? I can't wait when we're in game where we're just all we're doing is chasing down the weapon. Why?
Yes, like a noble, like the Montessorians are getting like harassed by
Yeah.
the Wappin' Whites, and they have to start
If
speaking
this
in verse.
isn't my
Otherwise, the
first-
whites come up.
If this isn't our first plot hook, I'm quitting Godbound.
I'm sorry.
In my mind, they're like totally like East Coast 1980s b-boy style,
Yes.
like some chains and puffy jackets and sideways hats.
Yes.
But they're still undead.
Yes. Okay. Let's go back to Chris.
So I wanted the Children of the Red to be like a Catholic cult. So Azrael's like a canonized saint now.
Yeah.
So this group, they actually have like tenuous ties to the Church of Palor, but they're like they're all descended from Azrael.
Cool. All right. I think all these other answers we don't need to air.
Okay.
It's pretty much just like for people out there. I'll post. Oh, I know. I will post the answers as a Patreon reward.
There you go.
There you go.
And I think with that, We will see you all in 2 weeks.
Thanks for listening. As a reminder, you can watch the first episode live July 26th at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on the Don't Split the Podcast Twitch channel. You can also check out more Geekspective content at geekspective.com and follow us on Twitter at Geekspective. Finally, I want to thank Rudy Basso for editing this podcast. You can find him on Twitter at Rudy Basso. Thanks, Rudy.